a chance for them to be tested now against a team that at 2-1, the LA Blaze, certainly a team to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, and we're going to see here a big battle, the coast-to-coast, East versus West. Now, when we take a look back at event number 1, the big thing to take away is both of these teams were basically had targets on the now 0-3 teams. So both of them beat Chicago Untouchables and Dallas Tornadoes. On the side of Team Freedom, they also took down OC Stunners. So while Team Freedom came in 3-0, a little bit unproven. They played well, they looked good, but they took down all 0-3 teams coming into this event. On the side of the LA Blaze, they took down Tornadoes and Chicago Untouchables and then lost to the Matadors, the only team that was 1-2 from that side. So, this is going to be one of those unproven, but if you know these squads, they're explosive, they're here to deliver, and this is going to be a great match. I cannot imagine any faster than 4 sets.
Obviously, for Team Freedom, a golden opportunity playing in front of their home fans for the only time this year that an event's going to be on the East Coast. Team Blaze looks very different than it did a month ago, so very difficult for Team Freedom. Head coach Carlo Edra, Justin Beaumont, team owner, to scout the Blaze, so they're going to have to adjust quickly today if they're going to be successful. And,
one of the big things here that's the kind of takeaway. You said in front of the home crowd, we are here at Harrah's Casino in Atlantic City, JBJ Events, working with us, helping get this, show on the road. There's a ton of people that are playing this weekend that are here now, and we are underway.
And the first swing of the match put away for Team Freedom.
That was Nugent there. Chris Nugent doing some damage early on the outside, number 10.
Yeah, Nugent's wearing a different number tonight. Usually number 1, Chris Nugent, former All-American out of Penn State and Fair Lawn, New Jersey. First serve for Ryan Kenny. He is the setter today for Team Freedom. That's into the net, so he gives it right back to the Blaze, and we're even at 1-1. The ball in the hands of Jordan Wally. 6'3" outside hitter. Good pass by Nugent. They go out right side to Nugent. Swings away for the kill. This Freedom squad has a very unique look because they do have a number of players on the roster that are not Division I talent, but they do have 2 big guns out of a very established Penn State program. Penn State, maybe about 3 hours from where we are here in Atlantic City, with Chris Nugent now back to serve. And then, of course, in the middle, Matt Seifert, the former All-American. He is wearing number 12. They go right side, tipped over by Bez Arslani, kept alive by the Blaze, blocked back. However, it is out of play, and a kill for the Blaze as they're able to get the side out.
And there's I'm doing some small roster updates here. Number 8 is actually Pablo Guzman of Puerto Rico. He's a very experienced indoor and beach player, someone that we saw back in Utah and going to be an absolute boon to the offense here today.
That is blocked back then, put over, free ball opportunity, and you can't do that in a level with this much talent as Travis O'Gorman, the 6'4" outside, played for Long Beach City College. I talked with head coach Carlo Edra before this match, and when we talked about the keys to victory today, 2 of them were neutralizing O'Gorman, Travis O'Gorman, who we just mentioned, alongside Jonathan Rodriguez, the member of the Puerto Rican national team. If they're able to do that, Nick, and also adjust to this new LA Blaze squad that they haven't seen before, they'll be in a comfortable position to at least be competitive.
Absolutely, and there is quite a bit of firepower on both of these teams right now. So it's all about seeing where you can get your stops. And the big story here, take it away, I'll follow up.
3 opportunities, and on the third one, it is cashed in, and that's a kill for Pedro Nieves, 6'9" middle.
But the big thing here also to keep an eye on, number 16, former coach, now player coach, Edison Zhou is actually of the former Chinese national team, a setter coming in at 6'10". Big guy. One of the biggest setters I've ever seen.
We go right side, Arslani. That is kept alive, dug up by Guzman. And they go deep, and just getting out of the way in time was Nugent. Chris Nugent, his brother Dan, I believe, has just signed with the
Chicago Untouchables.
So
one of the first brother duos we've seen.
And both of them are actually from my hometown of Fair Lawn, New Jersey. So, little hometown love. It's nice to see guys who played for the same program as you out there still playing when some of us can only wear a headset these days. And that is blocked back. A good double block there by the Blaze. Fingertips by O'Gorman puts it down.
Well, hey, I've got to say, you wear the headgear well. You do them proud.
I mean, as long as I can put this thing on, that's about as athletic as it's going to be these days. So a 5-4 lead early on here for the Blaze. Here's a big toss. Nugent gets a piece of that one. Arslani, he is blocked back. And a second block here for the Blaze, who have really ignited so far at the net. That's been their key so far to have this 2-point lead. Is Nick, they are not allowing a second or third opportunity here for Team Freedom to get set up. They're putting it down on 1.
We are seeing another big blocking performance. If you tuned into our last one, the OC Stoners put on a clinic, and to see if we can see that back here again.
Good pass by Nugent, swinging away. This time tooling the block was number 9. Is that Jordan Robinson, or did they switch
there was
numbers?
a couple numbers swapped there, so that's going to be Chris Vaughn.
That is Vaughn, the former Stevens Tech All-American Division III player. Don't you love it when they change numbers and
Yep.
it happens right before the match? That is put away from the outside. Good pin placement there as Blaze gets another winner, maintains this 2-point lead. The libero is Ronald Dunn.
Libero's Robinson there. Like I said, I'm getting these numbers
Robinson.
all. We've got a slightly different lineup here. So give me about 2 minutes. I'm getting us all squared away.
Well, thankfully, I know about half of these guys from heart just looking at their faces, so that'll be helpful, not having to worry about numbers. But can't really play shirts versus skins. They frown upon that these days. So Team Freedom, again, this is a club that is local. They have players from all over the tri-state area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut, and a lot of cross-divisional talent here. They are coached by Carlo Edra. He is going to call a timeout here to chat with his team. Carlo Edra, the head coach of Division III, New Jersey City University.
And that one's actually going to be a technical timeout. But,
it would be nice if I knew it was 8 points here.
But, hey, it's not a bad timing all the same. With the LA Blaze going up 8-6, Team Freedom, they've got to find a little bit of a solution here, but definitely not out of anything by any means. But we're seeing Blaze put together some pretty solid blocking moves right now. And, in men's volleyball, if you're really finding that success blocking, that's going to be one of the number one things that teams are going to have trouble overcoming. It's such a boon to your defense, to slowing big hitters down, and it's going to make Team Freedom apply a lot more service pressure to see if they're kind of able to find another way to sneak some points in. So, it's really putting the onus back on them to be aggressive servers, and we'll see how they answer back right now.
And, these technical timeouts do come in handy at the professional level. Obviously, in a sport like basketball where you'll have a media timeout on the 4-minute mark, this does give the coaches another opportunity to, hey, grab these guys, calm them down, get them recomposed, and they go back out on the court. And that is where we are here with a 2-point lead for the Blaze as they continue to serve. Kenny goes right side. Arslani from the back row. That is dug up by Massenet. And then the Blaze put it away for the 3-point lead.
Ricardo Massenet was actually discovered by the NVA 1 year ago here on a farm team that the NVA brought up from Puerto Rico. We saw the talent in him and knew he had to get on a team. LA Blaze quick to jump on that.
In the middle, and that is delivered as Seifert is able to put that one away. Starting lineup saw Seifert and Doug Dzema as the two middles for Freedom. Two players that played in the EIVA, one of the best Division I conferences in the country. And that is put away from the backside. I think it was Guzman with the winner, and he'll go back to serve. So there you see Pablo Guzman, 6'3", outside hitter, has the ball in his hands. His team up by 3. Big, powerful serve, just long.
And I made the comment earlier about the brother duo of the Nugents. Actually, this is the second Guzman playing for LA Blaze. Pablo's younger brother played with them in Event 1, so now he's back in the lineup replacing his younger brother. So excited to see what kind of damage he can do tonight.
Nugent, big serve, it's going to glance off the ceiling, and they keep it alive. What a save there by the libero Massanet. Second chance, and that won't lead to a third chance. Annihilation there from Chris Vaughn.
Big swings all over the place. Love to see the hustle over there from the LA Blaze. Little combination of Guzman and Massanet saying never saying die over there. Big swing by Nugent to put that one away.
So he will serve, the Fairlawn native. Big serve. Not the greatest pass, but enough to keep it alive. Got a touch at the net. They go back to Vaughn, and Vaughn, is there a touch? There is not. And a side out and a point for the Blaze to regain the 2-point lead. Serve for the Blaze is short. So, we're back to a 1-point margin in a very competitive first set. We are live at Harrah's Casino and Resort in Atlantic City. And that is too long for Seifert.
A little bit of an uncharacteristic missed serve there. Seifert usually quite dialed in, using all of his height there to make sure to capitalize.
Seifert's 6'9". He's their middle one at a Reading, PA. As you mentioned, former Penn State All-American standout. Serving for the Blaze will be Alvin Trung, 6'3" outside, played for Golden West College. And that is wide. And the lead is 3. On the year, the Freedom have lost just one set. Of course, as Nick mentioned in the open, they have played, at least to date, teams that had been winless at the time. So they haven't been in challenge, but you're not going to challenge that one, as that is put away there by Dzema. So Bez Arslani, will tell you a story about his left arm in a moment as he jump serves. The 6'3", former Division III All-American. And that is kept alive. It was going to fall in. Heads up play by the Blaze. Kenny sets up Dzema, but he's blocked back.
Wow, what a miscommunication turned into a good situation there. Pedro Nieves in the middle, number 5, able to turn, get another block. And, Ryan Kenny, not a huge fan of that call. And I understand his aggravation there. The refs are going to let the guys play as much as possible. It was a little ugly, but certainly didn't look like it was against the rules to me. And LA Blaze are back at it with a 3-point lead.
What an effort by the libero, Ricardo Massanet, sliding onto the touchline here on our near side on a ball that we weren't quite sure whether that was in or out, but you can't take a chance to let that fall.
Absolutely, not a time to take risks by any means.
So we were mentioning the arm of Bez Arslani. He actually got his COVID vaccination yesterday, and he is playing today. I don't know about you, Nick, but after I had my first and second shot, I couldn't lift my arm for 2 or 3 days, and he's out here playing pro volleyball.
Yeah, luckily he's gonna, he's a righty, isn't that correct? Or is he a lefty?
He is a righty, but you still got to be able to use your
left
left
arm.
arm.
I'm saying at least his right arm can swing, but man, those blocking moves are not gonna be fun.
He is playing on sheer adrenaline tonight. So credit to him. First of all, credit to him for getting vaccinated. Thank you for doing that. But of course, being able to still play the former Division III All-American Bez Arslani. So here's the serve for the Blaze. Kenny goes outside, and getting blocked was Nugent. And one more time, the Blaze are doing a solid job of setting up. They're forcing. Well, we do have our technical second timeout here, but they're forcing the Blaze to maybe make those adjustments that we talked about in the pregame that they have to make. From what you have seen so far, Nick, do you feel as if that the original game plan of taking away either I was going to say Guzman, but I actually meant to say Rodriguez and O'Gorman have been successful, or do they need to make another adjustment?
You know, right now, I think that I don't think that they're getting beat necessarily by those two. What I think the problem here is we are seeing a showcase from Blaze blocking once again. I mean, right there, we get the double block from Greg Faulkner out of Cal State Northridge. You're seeing Edison Joe on the right side. Just look, that when you have a setter that's taller than your middle blocker, you're talking about a very unique, uncommon situation, and they are getting a ton of block touches. And opposite, the other thing is that we're talking about they want to slow Rodriguez down. He's not even on the court. They're going with Greg Faulkner and Nieves. Like, we're talking on different worlds right now, and Nieves right now is contributing blocking moves that are just so helpful to the defensive effort of the LA Blaze, and it's really paying off right now for the team.
Does that surprise you that they made the move to go with Faulkner over Rodriguez at all?
You know, it's hard to say. Just like the Stunners, you never know. Both three are so well-rounded. Greg Faulkner, someone that's played overseas. He's a well-rounded beach player. He's a coach. He understands the game. He works at Cal State Northridge now. And it's hard to say. You know, maybe it's a comfort with the connection with the middle. But I don't know. What am I talking about? That's back-to-back blocks there for the powerful duo of Greg Faulkner and Edison Show on the right side.
And Nugent doesn't get blocked a lot. I mean, he's certainly not used to it at the collegiate level, but this isn't college anymore. This is the pros, and going to have to find a solution. If those two are going to come over and make your day, a menace, you need to look at something else. And they go to the middle to, I believe, Dzema. Right side, swinging away, and there for the dig was, I believe that's Chris Vaughn now playing in the back row. Kept alive by the Blaze. They go outside. Off the ceiling, and Nugent swings. Didn't get much on that one, but you know what? He got just enough.
And you know what I love seeing? Huge swings back to back, battling it out, uncorking with big digs, and ended by nothing other than the largest paintbrush in the world by Greg Faulkner. But guys, that is how volleyball goes sometimes, and that's where good intentions meet the right decision-making. Edison Show knows that he goes to Greg Faulkner in situations like that, and it pays off once again for the towering twins of LA Blaze.
Well, right now, Team Freedom, well, they have not been able to find an answer to this blocking scheme. I don't know what it's been about the LA area teams today, but they have certainly got their blocking game working. We saw in the last match just how the Stunners were able to just absolutely take the Matadors out of the match. They had, I believe, 10 blocks through the first two sets, finished with approximately 15.
Yep.
Haven't seen the final stats for that one, but about 15 in 3 sets is just a dynamic number, and the Blaze are on a similar pace right now.
They absolutely are.
Gorman with the serve. It's going to be a free ball opportunity. A second free ball opportunity. You don't give a third, as I believe Faulkner puts it away.
And look, that's one of the interesting situations. You know, you talk about what happens off the court, and it really comes down to the fact that the, Blaze, the Stunners, half of the Ramblers squad, these guys are training together in the same gym twice a week. They've seen each other, they train against each other, and they push each other off the court. All right, we got a little bit more flavor. Matt, on the sidelines, fill us in. What do you got?
Thanks, Nick. I'm over here following up with some timeout information from Team Freedom. They really want to emphasize the fact that they cannot swing low on offense and that they have to cover their hitters, really emphasizing the execution on their offensive opportunities. And then for Team Blaze over here, they want to stay away out from the Freedom libero on their service games and then also tighten up their block and defense. Other than that, emotions running high. Nick, back to you.
Thanks so much. It's so great hearing exactly what's going on there because it kind of completes and paints the complete picture of what these teams are not only doing, but what they're seeing and what they're trying to adjust. It's a little past, present, and future all in one. Thanks so much for that, Prosser.
Yeah, it's great to have a third man on our crew today, and throughout this weekend we'll be able to listen in and give you some insight of what's happening on the sidelines. But right now the Blaze are pulling away here in the first set, an 8-point lead. That is their largest of the afternoon. And Team Freedom, obviously the blocking scheme here for the Blaze is taking them out of their system, but it's also caused them to play a little bit flat-footed, quite frankly. That's
another
off
great
the top of the block.
touch.
Another touch, as you said. Close to the pin, and for the first time today, we do have a block for the Freedom. It's a combination of the former Penn State teammates and Seifert, along with the local product, as Chris Nugent gets involved. Here's serving will be the setter Ryan Kenny. He's out of Cinnamints in New Jersey, down near Philadelphia. And another block. The Penn State duo again, back-to-back.
It is so great as the mask ban is lifted. The gym is filling up, and for the first time in I don't know how long, the NVA is in front of live fans, the way volleyball was meant to be viewed.
Great deep float by Kenny. They go outside, and that one's going to sail into the aforementioned audience as a much-needed side out here for the Blaze to expand the lead back to 7, and now they are 3 away from taking our opening game. Now, you thought this would probably go at least 4.
Yep.
And the Team Freedom's going to have to really turn things around here in the second set if they want to avoid being swept today, as the Blaze are just outplaying them right now. Another block back. Arslani swings into the block, and I believe that is the 5th block of this opening set, if my math is right. 23-15 Blaze on top.
Well, we're certainly seeing a showcase from the Blaze, all around, and they're playing some great defense. But when you got a blocking move that looks like that, it really relieves a lot of the stress.
Much better pass off to serve. Arslani's second opportunity puts it away. Bez Arslani is a outside hitter naturally, so the fact that he's playing right side just talks about his versatility, especially with what we were talking about early on. He's playing with half an arm today, but having him be able to swing in that rotation out of the outside certainly helps the Freedom as well. In the middle, Faulkner's blocked back by Seifert. They'll go right side this time, and that is all right on the corner. A useful spot there as Alvin Trung, as he's able to lay that on the line for set point 24-16. So, chance here. The first of 8 potentially for the Blaze, trying to take game 1. And right down the middle, a little miscommunication between everybody in the back row. It's kind of like they just looked at each other. We're like, let's get this one over with.
Yep. And there's one last, as I'm getting all of both these teams decided that it was time to play musical chairs with their jerseys, so we're getting everything shored up. But the last one I got to get is number 1. That is no longer Alvin Trung. I've just got to figure out exactly who is being brought in by the Blaze. Just like many of these other teams, part of this season is, you've got to have every player on your roster play in one of the events, 1, 2, or 3, before they are allowed to play in the playoffs. The goal behind that is a big part of building a league like this is making sure that players are around for the long haul, that you're not just going and grabbing a guy for one event. And so because we only have a 4-event season for right now, we're making it a goal that we're creating that team dynamic, the team atmosphere. And so that's where you're seeing players are required to attend at least one main season event. And so that's where a lot of the teams, the team rosters are also now fully locked in. And so everyone's kind of made these final moves. And just everyone's looking to upgrade every little bit of firepower they can before they got to this event. So we keep talking about all these new names, a couple new faces for these squads. And, no owner is willing to walk into this gym and be the one that doesn't make it to July for that final 4th event. Everyone's pulling out all the stops, recruiting. They're looking international. They're looking here in the U.S. We're looking at the top graduating college players. How do you get them back into the league? Top names. That's where guys you see like Rattray coming in. He's a big, a big new face. He's 1 year out of UCLA. Guys like that, though, are getting integrated into the league all over the place, and that's what it's all about. If we're going to grow this league, if we're going to grow this sport, we want to give fans that they might have been a fan of a player in high school because they were a hometown guy. They go to their region. Maybe there's someone new. Then we want to be able to drop a pro team in your area. We're out here in Atlantic City. All these people are local players, and right away, they're fans of Team Freedom. Because why wouldn't they be? These guys are electric. They deliver, and they're 3-0. They are a hot commodity in the NBA right now. You've got to get on board, and so that's what it's all about. When we're growing this league, that's the best way to support it. Find your team. Find a way to get your friends. That's what sports is all about, and I think that's what's been so hard about COVID. When it gets everyone stop going to events, stop having gatherings, it kind of takes away a little bit of that joy. And right now, as we hope to get around that bend, this is a great way to celebrate that. Grab some family, grab some friends. If they don't know volleyball, they haven't seen it before, this is a great way to experience it in its purest form as we grow it here in the U.S. It's an absolute treat.
I was going to say, you talked about things that people missed the most during the pandemic, obviously spending time with families, but it was live music and it was live sports. So for those who are watching the broadcast who might be on the East Coast, we're here for 2 more days, all day tomorrow, all day Sunday. It's Memorial Day weekend. The Jersey fans have absolutely come out. The ballroom is packed already. I don't think there's too many empty seats left. However, if they are fans of the home team, Team Freedom is going to need to make some adjustments here in game number 2, and it'll be very interesting to see, Nick, what they do. Do they go back to the original lineup? Do they make a few tweaks? Whatever they are, they cannot allow to continue to have the Blaze blocking continue to dominate this match.
Dead on. I couldn't have said it better myself, and now these teams are both very, very deep on the on their roster, so we start to see what they're going to do and what they're looking to make the changes. And it looks like we are staying the same on both sides. See if the Chris duo, outside duo of Chris Nugent and Chris Vaughn are able to get a little bit more productivity for Team Freedom. These are 2 extremely well-rounded guys. Chris Vaughn is one of the few players here that has played on all 4 surfaces that you can play the sport. And you might be saying, Nick, 4 surfaces? Hardwood, grass, beach. He's actually represented the USA playing snow volleyball as well. So he has seen the game in every form that you can imagine. And if you haven't seen snow volleyball before, check it out. It is something else.
Wait, there's snow volleyball.
There is snow volleyball.
Why am I just learning about this now?
Hey, because we were just waiting for an opportunity to share the word.
I am going to have to check out the snow volleyball because half the year here on the East Coast, you can't really get on the beach. You don't want to get on the beach. It's not like you guys who live in Southern California who have perfect weather 360 days a year.
Hey, you know what? 72 is a cold day in SoCal, I got to tell you.
I hear it rains like once every 2 months, so
yep,
sorry you can't go outside those days.
Yep, it's a tough one.
As Chris Nugent's able to get that off of the block this time, but we're looking at the numbers in the first set. We were right dead on. 6 blocks there for the Blaze in that opening set, and they took control there. 2 for Team Freedom to at least get themselves chalked up, but it has been a block fest so far. Chris Nugent with 3 kills in that opening set, 3 apiece for Travis O'Gorman and Pablo Guzman. But that blocking scheme is, well, at least in the first set, clicking on all cylinders. Can the Blaze continue that here in game 2? This would be a huge win on their resume if they could pull this out.
Guzman was unable to make the first event, making a run to qualify for the beach team for Puerto Rico, and he has now returned in kind. Unhappy with his service attempt, thought it was too easy, and while Massanet has the ball go down near him, Guzman says, guys, that's my bad. He knows he needs a better serve than that if he doesn't want to get a ball punished like that back at him.
Well, Seifert was happy to have that opportunity, and he will have the ball in his hands after putting that away. Good serve from Seifert. Pass from the backside, and did he clip the line? He did, as the Blaze able to connect, and they lead 3-2.
Morales, this is number 1, Steven Morales here. We got all of our stuff sorted out, and Charles Belvin unable to travel this weekend. Steven Morales is stepping in as the right side, having a great showing thus far. See if he's able to continue that.
He's the member of the Puerto Rican national team that we heard about, and that is going to be another one of the players that this Freedom squad is going to need to find a solution for. But right now, they just need to be more consistent on attack. And it's going to start here with a good serve to try to keep the Blaze off balance. Arslani, that's tight to the net, and that is punished on the outside. What a swing
O'Gorman hammers that ball. Started at Long Beach City College, finished his college career over at George Mason University in Virginia. So an East Coast guy himself, and he just came out and hammered that ball. But we got a little bit more sideline insight. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. A couple of points of the coaches' talks there between sets 1 and 2 for Team Freedom. Coach Carlo really emphasizing that continue to swing high. They lost the blocking statistics 8-1 through that first set. They said a couple of swings were just too low into the heart of the Blaze block, and that didn't help their cause. And then also, they need to start serving more aggressively. Be a little bit more aggressive from the inline for Team Freedom and force Blaze into some trouble on their passes. On the other side of the court, Blaze, again, won that blocking statistic category, 8-1 through that first set. Coach Eddie wants to stay solid on their service game as well. Keep that new setter connection, as this is the first match that Eddie Zhao's played in. And then, of course, Team Blaze wants to keep this hometown crowd at bay by kind of keeping them ahead in the scoreboard. So back to you guys, Nick.
Thanks so much. Once again, hitting us with all the good stuff that we cannot hear from over here. Always interesting.
I was going to say, you certainly want to keep the Jersey guys and gals silent. You know how boisterous it could be out here on the East Coast. So don't want to get the crowd involved. And it was nice seeing on one of the last timeouts where they were transitioning and showing the crowd on the backside of the court. But we have fans sitting to our left, sitting to our right, sitting along the wall. You know, probably can fit, I'd probably say close to 500 in the ballroom pretty comfortably.
Well, I think tomorrow we're going to test that, and I'm excited for it.
And
O'Gorman
they're testing the Blaze passing game because that is put away for an ace. First ace of the match for the Freedom. Team Freedom used to practice 2 times a month. Now they practice 1 to 2 times a week. Maybe not as often as some of the Southern California teams, but have been able to get out in the gym a lot more together as that is put away cross court.
Pablo Guzman in true form, back in Utah, coming off that first round of COVID after the first 5 or 6 months of it. He was a little out of shape, wasn't quite where he wanted to be with his touches, hadn't been able to play at all in Puerto Rico, and he's back in true form, looking great both, physically as well as just his touch is back exactly where you want to see it. And that high flyer is an absolute weapon for the Blaze.
Another team service error for the Blaze it is a 7-6 lead for the Freedom, trying to even this match at 1 set apiece as Kenny serves. In the middle, quick action, and that is put away for the Blaze yet again.
And we are seeing the height of coach-player Edison Zhao really paying off hand over fist right now. I mean, like I said, he's taller than every guy on LA Blaze. So the fact that he can just set it straight across to his middles, that's letting Faulkner and Nieves really just swing away, and they're getting a lot of great middle connections right now.
We'll have a technical timeout after this point. Arslani off the block, is able to recover. Kenny goes right side. Nugent rolls it, and it's going to fall in for the kill. And the Freedom take the 8-7 lead as we go to our first timeout of the second set. And the Freedom have come out, Nick. Well, they look like they have started to put it together a little bit, have come up with some solutions after our first set in which, quite frankly, the Blaze just completely dominated them.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, though. You got to look at Team Freedom and what really just embodies and explains who that team is we've got still guys on the court or on the bench like Josh Castillo, one of their big outside. Well, he's a small outside, but he performs big for sure. You've got 6'9" or 6'10" opposite Joe Norman over there. They've got so much fire. They've got the legendary Instagram famous Zebra, one of the most viral middle blockers on the internet. That guy flies and he hits hard and he hits for points regularly. So this team, they've got Matt Elias over there. They've got a variety of guys that aren't touching the court right now that at times are regular starters. Noticeably also John Cunningham, their second libero. They split time between Jordan Robinson. So anytime you tune in, you never know what team you're about to get. And Team Freedom really understands their team dynamics. They know how to get the most out of their guys. And after I've talked about all these guys on the bench, they didn't even have to change the personnel to find themselves ahead by 1 point.
Exactly, and I think we all need a cool nickname like Zebra. We got to work that out before tomorrow.
You know, a couple guys in the leagues are starting to get him. One of my new favorites is also number 17 on the Ontario Matadors. Jacob Vanderbeek has been claimed as Thor by the Matador fans for his golden
That's my name. That's my name.
Might be your literal name, but it is certainly a name acquired for his long golden locks and this big right arm that everyone loves to affectionately refer to as the Hammer.
Thor will have to interview Thor tomorrow. Ira Thor, Nick England with you live here at Harrah's in Atlantic City. This is our final match of 5 today, and we'll be back with you 9 a.m. tomorrow and 9 a.m. again on Sunday as we have 10 more through this second weekend of that is Arslani. Oh, blast by Bez as he puts it away.
Arslani's got a cannon. I've never been able to see him play before. He's one of those guys that's been with Team Freedom for a long time, but, you know, finding out when he can travel to events, and Bez can bang a ball for sure.
Well, Bez has had shoulder issues over the years, so he has taken a lot of work on the side to get himself physically ready for this weekend, as that is going to go over, and Bez puts it away. And Team Freedom taking advantage of the free ball for the 2-point lead.
And I have always fondly talked about Team Freedom as the epitome of the team that if you don't beat them, they're just going to win. You don't get just accidental wins. They know how to put up their points. They're going to score them every time. So it sounds kind of obvious, maybe a little John Madden-esque of if you don't score more points than them, they're going to beat you. But they are a very well-disciplined team.
Roll shot Vaughn that is kept alive. It's going to nearly fall in and put over. Do not give a free ball to the Freedom because you will lose yours.
And that's what we're talking about right there. This is a team that will test your resolve. They're going to test your system, and they're going to say, show me what you can do. And that's going to force LA Blaze to take a timeout at 11-8 with a 3-point lead for the Freedom. This is what Freedom does so similarly to the Utah Stingers. They might start a little slow at times, but they're gonna fix up those little holes, and they're gonna start to choke you out to the point that you cannot play the game unless you are on at the very, very best.
And we're starting to get the Jersey fans involved. You can hear it. Let's go Freedom chants are resonating throughout the ballroom here in Atlantic City, and boy, oh boy, if you get you've all seen Jersey Shore. It's not like that really here. That's fiction. But if you get the boisterous, the loudness of Jersey involved, that's a real thing. And Team Freedom love to have that behind them as they proceed here in set number 2. And you mentioned the Utah reference. A lot of these guys have been playing together for a long time and have that familiarity. It's going to serve them well throughout this season.
Absolutely. O'Gorman with a low pass there, and he gets the bailout bump set. And we can see that Team Freedom has done their scouting, and O'Gorman is the target right now of their serving game. So, he's going to have to shore that up, and you're going to see Ricky Massanet really get aggressive here, I'm sure.
Seifert, the former Nittany Lion All-American, played overseas since he graduated in 2016 with the serve. Blocked back, and Arslani, he destroys it!
And you want a reason to be electric. There it is. Arslani he started very well, don't get me wrong, but a couple uncharacteristic, just finding his footing, and now he is firing on all cylinders. And that is not a 4-cylinder, that is a Hemi. That boy is firing right now.
He's only 6'2", the Albanian born. His family is from there. And that is high touch and out of bounds. It'll be a side out for the Blaze, but he has been a volleyball force in this state for a long time. Under-recruited coming out of Wayne Valley High School in North Jersey. Not a program that's really known for the sport, and found himself in Division III, but he is a talent and somebody certainly the Blaze going to have to find an answer for. Good pass there by Freedom. They go back to Bez, and he changes it up and finds a useful spot in the middle of the court.
And you're now seeing one of the weaknesses to having a tower on the backside there is the defensive moves isn't always just as fast. So not quite able to come up with a dig there is Edison.
So Arslani will serve, and after this we'll have a report from Matt as Bez has the ball in his hands. The big toss. It's a much better pass there for Blaze though, Nick. I think they wanted a carry. They wanted a double. Doesn't matter. Vaughn with the winner. as the lead grows to 15-9. Here's a great time to hear from Matt on the sideline. What do you got for us?
Yeah, thanks, Ira. Obviously, some emotions are running high over here for Team Freedom, but Coach Edra really just saying we are right where we want to be through this second set. We've got to continue to really rely on our defense. Defense, defense, defense. As Team Freedom continues to dig the ball off of Team Blaze's offense. And then over for the LA Blaze, they need to do a better job, Nick, like you said, picking up that junk, playing tip defense, and really expecting anything to come across the net. And then also passing, focus on the passing offensively from O'Gorman moving forward. Back to you guys.
Good insight there. And O'Gorman, as you mentioned, just lands the kill to give the Blaze the side out and a big serve. But Nugent with the pass. They go to Vaughn, and he's able to tool the block for the kill.
And now we're seeing those adjustments we talk about. The Chris duo between Nugent and Vaughn doing such a good job, and now they're not hitting into that, that huge double block of Faulkner and Joe, and there's so much court taken up by those guys. But now we're seeing the adjustment. Vaughn, Nugent attacking the outside. We're seeing Edra and Locke just going after all sorts of big swings on the right. And right now they're beating that LA Blaze block. They're picking apart their serve receive with on target, consistent serving. They know what they want to do.
Second technical timeout here in the first set. If you just tuned in, it was a dominant first opening game here for Team Blaze. Probably better for a LA team to be playing the last match of the weekend here, the last match of the opening day, because it really is 5 o'clock. What time is it? 7:40? It's 4:40 out in the West Coast, so it's good to have a West Coast team in this time slot. But the Blaze, 25-16 dominant first set. They relied so much on their block in that first game. What adjustment do you think they need to make in the second set now as the Freedom has kind of found themselves?
Pass the ball. If that team is passing, they have the offensive weapons. That's not of a concern. They've just got to get dialed in on exactly how they want to get into serve receive. But one thing I want to talk about that so few people, I'm going to drop a little bit of knowledge about a high-level aspect of the game, and this is called screening. It is not allowed at younger ages. It's not allowed in NCAA, but you can do this with FIVB international rules. Watch what Team Freedom does. They're going to set up a 5-man flying V that screens exactly where they're serving. So you can tell right now they're going to serve O'Gorman based on where their guys are standing. A little bit of adjustment from the LA Blaze, but they're still out of system. They find the tip, but you're going to see Team Freedom and several other teams in the league do this on every single point. So what that does is you cannot see the server as the passer until that ball is almost at the net because of that entire screen that's going on. So while some of these serves might feel easy when you're watching them at home, consider little aspects like that. There's a ton of mind games. We're playing chess out here, not checkers. So definitely something to watch from Team Freedom.
This part of the broadcast called England's Insight. You just learned a lot about the sport of volleyball at this level. As that ball caroms off the ceiling, Nugent with the winner off of the ceiling here in the ballroom. No weddings going on in this place tonight. Just a lot of smashing going on, and it is a 17-11 lead. But that is great insight. Again, you talked about how that is prohibited at the amateur levels, but a lot of mind games can come in handy once you're getting paid to be out here.
Absolutely, and that's the stuff that continues to change in the game. And now Josh Castillo goes up to hit a big jump serve.
Castillo, a great beach player, getting the chance to serve, gets in for the first time, and the Blaze leave it short. And this is the largest lead of the match so far for the Freedom, who are pulling the reverse blast here in the second set. They lost by 9 in game number 1. They are up by 7 here deep in set number 2. And Castillo, who played at Ramapo College, which is a very good Division III program here in New Jersey. One of the first volleyball programs in the history of the sport, quite frankly, at the collegiate level. I was ready for that. I hit the camera.
You were dialed in for that one.
I was ready to swing, baby, but I don't think you really want that right now because it's not going to look very professional.
But it's only because you're not warmed up. That's the only reason, right?
I'm not sure the warming up's going to help anymore. I'm sorry.
Okay, quick one real quick here. Nicholas Dennis, second libero. One of the best ball control guys on Blaze, so they're going to bring him in as a serving sub. This guy grinds. He is the last one out of the gym, first one in there. He is hitting serves for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever he can do to get better. Hopefully we see some success here. Nice serve in.
Yeah, it certainly comes in and gives a great serve. Immediately blocked back. Freedom's going to have to adjust here from the back row. It's left short by Vaughn.
Not quite able to make that one work for him, but those are the small adjustments, the personnel things that you want to see work for him. Right now, O'Gorman is definitely the serving target, so while I think this is probably just a serving sub, maybe someone that sticks around for a little bit in the back row. Oh, he's in for a middle only. I just confirmed Ricky's not on the court.
Along the line, kept alive by the Freedom. Arslani cross court. Oh, he's able to slip it through the screen.
Was he over outside the court? I didn't have an angle for that.
I think he took off just behind it. He jumped so high and so far for 6'2" that he landed. He actually landed probably 2 feet out of bounds. That's how much of a takeoff he had in his approach. And man, it's such an athletic player, such a great addition as he has been unable to really play with the injuries he's been dealing with. In the middle, Seifert got a piece of it, but not enough to keep it alive, and the Blaze able to come through again. And they are staying alive here in the second set, now down 5.
Right now, one of the big mismatches that they're taking advantage of is the middles. Edison Joe really he's struggling to set a consistent ball to the outside, whether it be passing or just some of the location issues. But in the middle, he is in system. He's got his guys, so they want to keep running that, see if they can get it, running their offense through there.
And right down the line, but it did not stay in. And an error on the aggressive swing there. Listen, if you're down 5-6 points, you have to start playing a little bit more aggressively. And he went for it and just missed.
It's a good swing from Guzman. Doesn't quite go his way, but like you said, can't let off now.
Nugent, big serve. Could be a free ball. No, keeps it alive at the net. Nugent here in transition. Kenny goes to Seifert. Dug up by the Blaze. One more swing. Dug off the ceiling. Vaughn. And that's going to sail into the scorer's table for the kill for Freedom. And Vaughn didn't get a full approach. It looked like he had to take maybe a one-step approach there as it was behind the 3-meter line, but still got enough on it to get the result. And now Freedom is 4 points away from evening this match up. And the Jersey product, Chris Nugent, serving. Blocked back by Seifert. Chance here to set up an offense from the back row. Oh, they're just going to have to send it over. Misfire on the set. Freedom, Arslani swings away. Right place, right time for the Blaze. They'll send it over. A little short dump. Arslani one more time, and he misses wide.
And that's going to go the way of Blaze. What a rally. A little bit of miscommunication on that Bick that went over Nugent, but he would have actually... So Blaze thought he touched it all the same, but he would have actually had a back row attack if he hit that over the net. So that one was a little bit of a... That was a nail biter. There was a lot of things going on there, but Blaze able to battle it out. And
that's
Guzman,
too long.
talk about battling it out. He sends that one for a hike.
Yeah, but you're down by 7. You got to serve tough there, and he left it all out there, just missed long. And Matt Seifert will have the ball in his hands with a chance to begin closing this out.
Look at that screen once again. Team Freedom's front row is on the entire right side of the court to screen out O'Gorman. You know Seifert is going to go after O'Gorman right now, number 12.
This is where X-ray vision would come in handy. Right side, and that is put away for the winner by Morales. The right side gets the winner. Still a big hill to climb here in game number 2 for the Blaze. It'll be Pedro Nieves. He'll serve the 6'9" middle out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico. That's just left short by Dzema.
That got ahead of him a little bit too fast through his hitting zone. By the time he made contact, it had already passed him. Finds that one into the bottom of the tape, but sometimes that's what happens. Kenny looking for an aggressive set as he's about 7 feet off the net there and didn't quite connect.
Now a 5-point lead for the Jersey team over the West Coast team. Here in game number 2, they back to Arslani. Takes a little bit off of it. Was there a touch? No. And an important side out continuing here for the Blaze, as this will force a timeout from the Freedom, not liking the fact that the Blaze have started to find a little bit of a solution here after being down by close to double figures.
And now we've seen Blaze set themselves up to be, whether it be in striking position, still quite a mountain to climb there. 7 points to 3 points required to get this one before they're done for game 2. But either way, they are starting to shift the momentum back in their favor. And right now, this deep in this game, that could be one of the most important and critical factors to keep track of. So we definitely need to keep an eye on Blaze and how much momentum they get going on here. I don't know if they've got many other personnel changes that are really going to handle what they need to. So it's a big factor that we've got to keep track of and see if this current team is a lineup that's able to get it done for them.
Yeah, Freedom certainly has a deeper bench, being able to drive to the event rather than fly across the country. 14 players here on the Team Freedom bench. If they need to go, they have the horses. They do have the deeper roster to work with. The Blaze are going to have to find the solutions with the guys that came with them.
You hit the nail on the head. The horses are there. They're in the stable and ready to be ridden. The boys are ready to go.
So off the timeout, Vaughn. Oh, he puts that one away with authority as Team Freedom using the timeout to the best of their ability to make sure that they were able to make this a one-point play. They get the side out, and serving will be Arslani, 2 points away from evening this at a set apiece. Big toss by Arslani. Free ball opportunity sent back by Kenny. I think there was a net violation against the Blaze. Indeed there was. No.
It's actually a back row attack. Edison Joe was back row, so when that ball goes over off of his hands, that is a back row violation. As a back row player, can't put the ball over if you're in front of the 10-foot line, above the plane of the net. And at his height, he is so tall, it just goes over.
Arslani serving for the set. Great pickup by you. I missed that. Nugent can't keep that one alive without trying to take out the entire scorer's table as that was into the pipe and drape. But still, 5 more set point opportunities here for Team Freedom, which has made the adjustments to make this now a potential race to 4 sets. Well, you called it. We might be looking at it.
I said definitely not less than 4, possibly 5. Nice
Morales.
pass by Robinson.
And that is destroyed by Dzema to win game number 2 by a score of 25-19, and we are even at 1 set apiece.
Well, it's certainly not failing to deliver, and we're enjoying, Blaze is finding a way, kind of back into that later on in the game. But right now, the biggest thing that they're going to have to shore up if they want to find some success here in Game 3 is they've got to find a way to pass the ball. Edison Show right now is not getting the ball in his hands where he wants it. They're having a little bit of a runaround, and it's forcing the pins to really hit a lot of out-of-system swings. And while Morales is handling it well, there's still, it's a lot of uncertainty right now. The more they're able to dial that passing in and give their middles a chance to get established, LA Blaze is going to be a far more successful team. So definitely something that I would challenge them if I'm their coach. That's what I want to see get shored up right now in this other one. But no, on the other side of the court, Team Freedom, they are looking good, and it kind of goes back to what we were hearing from you last game. It's like, it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep the pressure on. The serving pressure is consistent, and it's good. It's not about hitting aces. It's about applying constant, steady pressure. It's hitting your targets. They have number 12, Travis O'Gorman, in their sights. They are dripping ready for that to hit him with every single serve. We're seeing the stack get lined up nicely. Every guy's hitting float serves. It's not about crushing serves. They're not trying to get aces. They want Travis to be the one passing, get him out of system, make him as an outside pass first, eliminate him, eliminate a middle, and then you've got a backside option, and that's all you've got. So they're executing brilliantly.
And I was going to say, it goes right into that game plan that we talked about early on, which was trying to find a way to neutralize Travis O'Gorman, and it's coming with that service attack. If you were a player at this level, you obviously come in with a lot of confidence. You know you're able to find a way out of a jam. Well, how do you get out of that when you know you are the one being targeted?
Yeah, when you're in that, one of the biggest things that is helpful for outsides, but at the same time is extremely difficult. Outside hitters tend to be some of the most well-rounded players. They've got to be in serve-receive every single rotation. They've got to hit balls that are frequently out of system, and they've got to make it better. So while there's a lot of opportunities to score points, there's also a lot of opportunities on the other side to have points scored against you from your efforts. So right now, if I'm Travis O'Gorman, he's scoring well. So if he's able to kind of find some good block moves, continue swinging well, could get good pressure from the service line, maybe that's going to be able to help him kind of find his way out of his serve receive funk right now. Now, also, I want to see Ricky Massanet, one of the best liberos in the league. He needs to be aggressive. They need to minimize the seam between him or Guzman. Guzman's a fantastic passer as well. Mitigate the options and make Team Freedom hard commit. If they want to really pay the price, take that much off their serve to hit O'Gorman, make them do it. But challenge those serves, because if they're able to minimize the amount of court, that's a great way to get out of this if you're LA Blaze. Almost going to a two-man serve receive, put O'Gorman on the sideline, pinch him out of there. I think the rest of the passers on Blaze are more than capable, and I would challenge to see them do that right now.
And we'll see if they're listening in and taking some of our England insights to pull O'Gorman out of there and make him target somebody else as we move. We switch sides of the court. Look at the crowd. It's just really nice to see people packing into this ballroom.
Man, I feel bad for Blaze. They're the first team to, everyone was still arriving, so no one was really here all day long, but everyone certainly showed up for Team Freedom all the same, and that is a tough spot to be the first team playing, with a crowd. But not only that, it is a crowd that is not on your side.
Not at all. They're not at all. And you think about some of these events that have been going around the country as we're starting to restart. Really, during the pandemic, the only sport that saw fans in any degree was UFC, and they had to go overseas, or to Jacksonville, Florida, which is really the only other place we've seen any fans. So to start seeing in the Northeast, potentially in California, places that had really been the most adversely affected by the pandemic, it is really just a positive sign that we are emerging. And what's better than sitting here on a Friday night, maybe get a little dinner when you're done, get some drinks. Oh, the lines.
All right, well, that's where we just have to draw the line. Pedro Nieves getting aggressive, going after our line judges, and that is just unacceptable. But we got a little breakdown during that between-game split. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. A few key takeaways here from both teams after set number 2 for LA Blaze, and Coach Edison telling me that they really got to tighten up their defense. Block and defense can be a little bit stronger if they want to get back to that winning ways from set number 1, obviously, and then they got to focus on some better passing. Eddie himself saying that he's also got to dial in his setting location to his players and kind of get their windows figured out a little bit tighter as this game goes on. And then for Team Freedom, pretty happy with their blocking and schemes that way. They want to keep their screens tight. Nick, what you were talking about earlier, that specific service screen, and then keep winning the serve and pass game. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much. Just in time to see the return of the Twin Towers on the right. Greg Faulkner and Edison Joe shut that down real quick, giving Blaze a 1-point lead here with Morales heading to the back line.
That's the first block that we've seen since the first set, so the Blaze starting to figure things out ever so slightly again as they have a 2-1 lead. We'll see if they can keep it going. Arslani with the big swing. That will sail into the crowd. We cannot understate the ability of Arslani to change the dynamic of the match. He is not a right side hitter by trade. He's an outside hitter. He played it in college, played it in high school, and he's played it in his brief professional career. But my gosh, to be able, especially as a righty, to be able to generate that kind of power from the right side, a weapon for sure. Blocked back, a triple stuff for Freedom. Reach out and stuff someone.
You talk about a weapon. Chris Nugent wheeling and dealing on the left side, makes a great move there, puts up that triple, setting up the Freedom wall right there.
Nugent with help from Kenny and Dzema as the 3 Jersey guys with the rejection. That is kept alive. Arslani overhand to keep it going. They send it over in transition. Oh, it's sent deep. One more time, Blaze, third opportunity. And this time, they connect.
You asked me, how does O'Gorman find his way out of that? He turns on the terminal swings, and here he is already contributing 2 kills so far here in the third set. He is absolutely ready to dig his way out of a little bit of a serve-receive hole. O'Gorman does not go quietly into that night, and here he is on the service line.
And he's 6'4" outside, again, product of Long Beach City College. Big serve, targeting Nugent this time. They go to Nugent on the attack, and he's going to get it on the cross court for the winner.
Ricky Massenet, good ball touch there. Not quite able to pop it as much as he would have hoped. Ricocheted off pretty quick. And that's going to be Dzema on the back line now.
Now here is Doug Dzema. Interesting story about him is he actually was a setter in high school. He was an all-state player out of Christian Brothers Academy here in New Jersey. When he went to Sacred Heart, they needed a middle. They converted him. You know, sometimes you take the most athletic guy in the gym when you have a need and see if he's able to make that transition. And he's, quite frankly, found a home there.
I mean, that is a rare transition, setter to middle. The only time I heard about that previously was Kendall Partee, son of former Olympian Doug Partee, who I played with, went to UCLA, played high school as a setter, and then became a middle blocker at UCLA. It's a pretty rare transition, but a rare one nonetheless.
That's certainly one that is notable, of course, and Ryan Kenny, who is the setter, he will serve out of Cinnaminster, New Jersey. He is a assistant coach for the New Jersey City University men's and women's volleyball teams. And that is put away in the middle. Another kill this time for Nieves.
And this is what you love to see. The middle connection is alive and well on the side of Blaze. They've got to fuel that fire, though, right now. They've got to keep getting the passes there for Joe to be able to run the show.
So Joe will serve. Nugent with the high pass there. They go right side to Nugent. And that is going to fall in. It was a good challenge on the near side, just a tad too late for Steven Morales for the Blaze, who came over to try to cut off the angle, but stuck right on the line and no one to cover. And 1 point lead for the Freedom is going back to serve. It'll be Chris Nugent.
All right, nice pass, Massenet.
And it'll be attacked here. Nugent standing still in the service area, was able to keep it alive. Swing away is Vaughn. One more opportunity here for Freedom. Vaughn again, this time rolls it, but waiting for it were the Blaze. And that was there a touch? No, there was not.
I didn't see one. That was over the top by a mile. Did not get it.
They said swing high. That's a little too high. And
yeah, happy medium. Split the difference and keep challenging that block. Then again, when you got Seifert in front of you as a 6'10 blocker, sometimes it doesn't feel like you can swing high enough.
Nah, and Seifert at 6'10", able to touch close to 12 feet with his athletic ability. I think there was a foot fault. There was.
There was indeed.
That is called. Good job by our Lions official to see that. And great officials here. There's so much talent. Talk about players, so much talent officiating in this part of the country.
I mean, it's a tough. This is tough level too, right? You know, getting all the calls right here. We got things moving pretty quick.
Great pass there by Robinson. Vaughn swings away, but is well covered by Massenet. They go outside. O'Gorman misses.
Looks for a touch call. I thought I saw a touch there, but it's hard to tell from, all the way across the court. But either way, we're seeing disciplined blocking from Team Freedom, and that's going to give them that lead 8-6 here at the technical timeout.
So an 8-6 lead for the Freedom as they have seemingly composed themselves now very well after that really rocky first set. A Team Freedom squad that we talked about had not really been challenged thus far, playing three teams that were, towards the bottom of the standings. So for a squad that, at least in their minds, appears composed to challenge for a conference and maybe the whole title this year, how important is it to be the first match you play on your home court, your home state, to get this kind of a fight?
I think what really lends well to Freedom's position here is, without remembering the rest of the other two matches for the weekend, Blaze is really one of those upper middle tier teams. And so if you can come in and make a statement against that team, get a big win here, that's going to help warm them up. Because like I said, Freedom, we all know, is great. But in Utah in November, they finished 4th behind Stingers, Stunners, and Ramblers. And so there's kind of that, they're right in that sweet spot between the middle of the pack and the top dogs. So again, they're still a little untested and unproven here. So this win against the Blaze is going to help kind of shore up where they're at and get them ready for the rest of their weekend here.
Well, the Freedom will play tomorrow night in the late match again. This time they'll take on the Stingers, and then they will close the weekend on Sunday in the 430 contest against the Matadors, who had their own problems today that they're going to look to resolve tomorrow. Now that is put away with authority by Morales.
Yeah, you talk about people not having problems right now. Steven Morales has continued to be a workhorse for the LA Blaze, making a great first showing in the NBA for himself here, wearing that white and red.
He's one of the players that Coach Edger mentioned they need to find a solution for, and he's starting to come alive. 1 point lead for the Freedom. Arslani off the high block. They go outside, and O'Gorman, and that is too long. Oh, they all want a touch. I thought there was a touch.
Yeah, there was a huge touch.
And they are pleading for it.
That was big.
So the up official will have a conversation with the Lions judge, and I think it is going to be reversed, and it is. They got it right. They got together.
Yeah.
That's what you're hoping for. I mean, veteran crew here.
A big thing is so it's kind of like tennis, right? When you're trying to look for these minutiae, these small things, it's all about knowing where to look, what to listen for, things like that. You can hear the touches. You can watch ball trajectory. You can watch arm swing to get an idea. And that one, you could look at O'Gorman's arm swing, and that ball was clearly going a different direction after the swing.
Absolutely, and that was heading out of bounds, so it's all square now.
And now you're going to hear the most famous volleyball line ever. The ball never lies. Team Freedom going to make sure that they're yelling that one out all day long as that serve goes long for LA Blaze.
Yeah, but with young referees, as they're training, they always say, watch that trajectory of the ball. If it changes direction, you know something happened. Either clipped the net or clipped a hand. In the middle, and Dzema, well, soon to be Dr. Dzema comes through. Tell you about that story. Doug Dzema, he is just waiting to pass his boards, and when that happens, he will be one of the few professional players that has DR in front of his name, and we're not talking about Dominican Republic.
And that's going to be over. Yep. All right, Kenny, I love you, buddy, but let's not discuss that one. That was some broken wrists over the net. That was not a that one wasn't close. But
easy call there for the official, and it's just now a 1 point lead for the Freedom again. We'll see what Steven Morales can uncork. Well, he leaves it short.
Uncork something, but that was not what he was looking for. He can cork that one back up and put it back on the shelf for later.
Put that one back in the bottle for later after this match. And we'll see Vaughn again, a player who was a Division III standout for Medford, New Jersey, played for Stevens Institute of Technology, the Ducks in Hoboken. I don't know. I thought that one hit the floor on the block. We'll play on. Opportunity here for Nugent, and that is poked over. Third opportunity here for Freedom. They go back to Nugent. This is going to be close to the net. O'Gorman with the swing. Kenny leaves it for Dzema, who leaves it short. And all those chances, for a second, it looked like Freedom thought they had cashed in on the block. I guess the pancake out of nowhere for Massanet to keep it alive.
And that's 3 huge digs in one rally for Ricky Massanet, putting in work. Number 11 in maroon over there.
Out of Juncos, Puerto Rico, and he has been one of the MVPs on the court so far for the Blaze.
Absolutely has.
In the middle.
Little miscommunication to him and O'Gorman. They make that crossing move, but not quite able to find the touch that they need.
Yeah, they split each other up, and good spot there for Dzema to get the finish. 2 point lead for the Freedom. And here we see the substitution again for host Josh Castillo, the outside from Ramapo, member of the AVP Tour.
So interesting to see that he's serving from the right side of the court. Traditionally serves out of dead center.
They go on the outside there and put away by Pablo Guzman, who gets the side out. And I think this would be a good opportunity to kind of educate those watching on the different trajectories you could take from the service line and why you would choose each.
Sure. So one of the big things, and I'm going to talk about just the jump serve right now. So why so many players pick a side left or right is because it allows you more length in the corner. If you go corner to corner, you're going to add probably about 8 feet Forgive my math if my triangles are a little bit off, but you're going to hit that hypotenuse across, 30 feet wide, 60 feet long. So whatever that trajectory is, you get about 8 more feet, I think, allowing for more power on the jump serve, and it allows you to also quickly attack down the line. Alternatively, why I said something about Josh Castillo's service location, he likes serving out of middle back because every seam that he hits it at, wherever he wants to swing, is on a shorter trajectory pattern, so it gets to the passer quicker. I've actually talked to Freedom about that and asked why several of their guys do it. So unique to see him serving out of a certain spot that's not middle back.
More England insights for those of you watching at home. No reason you can't enjoy this match and also go away with some knowledge. It will help your own game. Any of those of you out there who still play or playing an open gym on a Thursday night, popular thing for folks to do after work, but not at this level. These guys are putting on a showcase this weekend here in Atlantic City, and it'll be Edison Zhao with the serve here. Kenny in the middle goes to Seifert, and he puts off the top of the block. Just perfectly timed for the Penn State All-American.
That ball was so far on the opposite side of the net. Seifert had one swing, and that ball might have even been going out, but he got Nieves' hands in front of him, able to use them. But great adjustment there by Seifert to work it for him.
Nugent with the power serve, but he misses long.
That's some back-to-back errors. I believe last time he was on the service line, he had a foot fault. So that's going to be 2 in a row.
And that's going to even the sucker up at 14-14. This has been a really fun match to watch so far as we see Guzman with the ball in his hands. Takes a little bit off of that one. Goes outside here. Vaughn. And I think it's going to be a double.
Net on Morales, number 1, coming down. He was a little too tight to net. This is another, we'll do another Nick, England Insight here, as you've so fondly branded it. The biggest thing when you are setting up your blocking, you want to make sure that you're about an arm's length from the net so that when you go up and make your move, your chest is not going to hit the net like Morales did there. That spacing is critical to make sure that you're getting up over the net and staying disciplined. From
the back row, but it is a violation as a back row attackers as he had stepped over the 3-meter line. 10-foot line as we call it in the non-metric system. And that will take us to our second technical timeout with the Freedom leading here. See the conversation between our up official and the setter Edison Zhao. And I think just want a little bit of clarification on that last call, but pretty clear. I saw it right in front of me. Couldn't have had a better vantage point, but
yeah, you were dialed in there. I've got a camera and a monitor, so that one was a little blind to me.
Which is why I can't see the net violation that happened, because I'm looking right into the battery part of the camera. But
we might only be 3 feet apart, but we both got different vantage points.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, I'll tell you what, though, it's been a great setup. What a great job by our crew so far here in day one to give you 5 different camera angles inside of what is traditionally a ballroom that you would have conventions at here in Atlantic City. This is one of the nicest properties in Atlantic City. This part of the country, as gambling has been legalized in many other states, has seen a lot of the tourism go to Pennsylvania or Delaware or Connecticut and even further south in recent years. So Atlantic City has kind of had to reinvent itself. Obviously, the legalization of sports gambling here in New Jersey being one of the first states in the country that allow that once the Supreme Court overturned that decision about 3 or 4 years ago has really started to rejuvenate this area. But it's so nice to see sporting events come here. Traditionally, Atlantic City is known for boxing and UFC events, and to see volleyball being just absorbed and just loved in this part of the country, great for the growing NBA.
You want to talk about insight. There is a history lesson to everything going on. Great to hear a little bit more about this side of the country. And you know what? There's a guy going coast to coast. Nieves going up with a big swing into the corner, finds it in there.
Yeah, I remember coming down here in like 1997, 98. One of the first on-air assignments I ever had was to cover a George Foreman fight. And
wow.
God, George Foreman, he was the heavyweight champion for the third time. Had to be in his late 40s, early 50s by then. So it's really nice to be here for a non-fight and talk about a fight. He is rejected at the net. Oh, big stuff there as Faulkner drops the hammer.
Volleyball fans, if you haven't found this guy yet, he is a West Coast legend. That's a chance to meet him firsthand. That is Greg Faulkner over the net, shutting that one down early. Welcome to the NVA.
And can I mention he has an absolutely perfect go-to.
Oh, it's a thing of legend.
As that is into the net. Back-to-back points, and the Blaze, after the technical timeout, have scored 3 in a row, and this isn't a forced freedom to discuss things.
Wow. I mean, and that's really, it talks to the value. If I ever talk to people, and I think most people would agree, when you say, what's your favorite way to earn a point in volleyball? A block is hands down the best response, because not only are you earning a point for your efforts, but you're taking someone else's effort in their swing and you're sending it right back with a little bit of first-class postage to them. And so you're earning mental real estate. You're making them make physical adjustments. And when that kind of stuff is going on, you're not just earning 1 point for yourself. You're making that outside rethink. And now he's got to go back and pass the ball. You're making that middle blocker think, wait, do I need to stutter step one more time? You start really building up a little bit more. And that's what we saw with the OC Stunners, right? They go get 14, 15 terminal blocks. That is more effective than a hitter playing their best game can be. 5 points a game. And it's coming at the detriment of the offensive swingers on the other side of the court. A huge block like that from Faulkner is a great momentum swing.
You are basically reaching into the chest of your opponent and pulling their heart out and slamming it on the floor.
Absolutely. And there, Bez with a big net there. That's going to be a point. Yep. O'Gorman does what he can to go one-on-one, but Bez finding a little bit of a net there is an unfortunate find for him, but a nice bailout for the side of LA Blaze.
Well, Arslani, he went for it there and missed, and it's 18-16 after the timeout. And the ball in the hands here of Nieves. Line drive serve. Nugent able to get the touch on it. Arslani has blocked back. Chance here again. They go this time to Vaughn, and they won't be able to save that one, and a much-needed side out for Team Freedom.
A little bit of miscommunication on defensive roles there. Nieves thought O'Gorman was going to go for that off the block, but a little bit too high for where O'Gorman was positioned, and one of those unfortunate times that Ricky Massanet not on the court to shore that up for Blaze.
Arslani has been a long-time member of Team Freedom, leaves that one short into the net. Side out here for the Blaze. Team Freedom, they have been together since 2016. They were formerly known as Team Dzema before rebranding in recent years. Justin Beaumont, the team owner. Team is based out of North Jersey primarily, but as you've talked about, as players from all over the tri-state area. They go outside here, Vaughn, and he puts it away. Almost getting a hand on that was Massanet. He's just not Inspector Gadget and able to extend his arm out that far.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I want to throw it back real quick just so that the fans understand what's going on here. When we talk about where these players are from, these players to get together and train are frequently driving more than 2 hours, sometimes up to 6-7 hours. They're staying overnight at their teammate. Guys are married. They're, making huge adjustments in their life, taking time off work in their day job until this is able to grow to a point that this is the full-time job. And guys like that, they are part of the vision. They see the vision for what the NVA is, what the future of volleyball is here in the U.S. So these guys being able to perform at this level, be in this level of shape, and just put on this kind of a show speaks to the commitment of the athletes in the league to put out a product that everyone can be proud of.
And the lead grows to 21-18 after the block there on the right side by Zhao, and that's going to force Carlo Edra and Team Freedom to talk it over for the second time. And starting to get late here in this third set. They are running out of time to try to figure out a solution. It's not as if Team Freedom has been, I'd say, beat in this third set. I think they've made a lot of unforced errors, particularly in the service game, but some attacks at the net that they would like to have back and another look at.
Yeah, and sometimes that comes down to how much pressure is put on you to continue executing. They were hitting O'Gorman in the second set very well, and so they saw the success, and now sometimes maybe they're willing to live or die by trying to find their guy once again. But the defense or the serve receive line so far for the Blaze has shored it up all nicely, put a couple bows on it, and they're able to put S and Joe back in the system. And even when they're not, the pin hitters are able to clean up the trash and being very effective.
So 3-point lead here as Team Freedom finds itself in a hole. Blaze trying to take a 2-1 lead in this match. Big serve, much better pass in the middle. You get a great pass, it sets up your middles, and that is just unblockable. As Dzema will go back to serve, soon to be Dr. Doug. Well, see if he can have a little precise service to give Team Freedom an opportunity here in the third set, I should say. We are even at 1 set apiece, and no, another service error. So late here in our third set, 22-19. And the Blaze with the ball in their hands. They go outside again. Nugent misses long. I don't believe there was a touch. However, I didn't have the same view as our down line judge here on the right side, who did see the ball change directory. So Nugent does get the call. No argument from the Blaze, and the lead is cut to 2, 22-20, and we'll see if Kenny, the server, is able to draw Team Freedom a little closer. Kenny played at Montclair State University club program here in New Jersey. From the back row, utter annihilation. O'Gorman drops the hammer. And some of the fans, Blaze do have some fans here after all, as we heard some cheering after O'Gorman just unleashed that rocket. And it's getting late now here. It's 23-20. It's out to serve. And he leaves it short. And he immediately wants it back. He's got a smile, but that's partially out of frustration. 23-21. What does Chris Nugent decide to do? The 6'4" product of Fair Lawn, New Jersey, up in Bergen County. Gets this one in, deep, tough serve from him. And then cross court, couldn't get the block on it. And that is just destroyed by Steven Morales, who gives the Blaze set point number 1 here, leading 24-21. And the ball in the hands of Pablo Guzman trying to close this out. The big toss. Off the tape. Kenny goes in the middle. Seifert destroys it.
Wow, what a way to score that point there. Seifert, being the big man that he is, gets up, gets physical, gets aggressive, and he puts an exclamation point on that one.
And now he has the ball in his hands to try to keep Team Freedom alive. Still set point number 2 for the Blaze. And another service error ends it here in game number 3. And the Blaze, they have a 2-1 lead in our final match of the evening. They won the first set 25-16. They win this one 25-22. And they are closing in on what would be, if they are able to prevail, one more set, be their 3rd victory of the year. Team Freedom hasn't tasted defeat yet, and they're going to need to find a solution as we come back.
So this is going to be a huge one here, being that we're sitting at 3-0 for Team Freedom once again, and we've got LA Blaze at 2-1, and so when we take a look at the standings, one of the most important things that you've got to realize is that here you see it on your screen right now. Team Freedom 3-0 in the National Conference. You've got the American Conference with LA Blaze at 2-1. This is going to tie them up at 3-1 apiece. And right now we're seeing the American Conference. They've got the 2 on this. Obviously now the Stingers 3-1, Ramblers 4-0. That's going to really just tighten up that race. Blaze might move into that tied slot there with the Stingers, which is a great spot to be in. So this is one of those matches that it's hard to be before the end of the weekend or going into event 3 and know the impact. But this one you can tell right away. This is going to start to matter for some seedings in that event 4, because I don't think anyone's really questioning if these 2 teams are going to make it there. But this one's really going to matter. And so if you have not seen it before, the way this is going to run is those teams' standings and their head-to-head matches are going to give them the overall rankings. And we use an FIVB point scoring system for a tiebreaker. The way that works, if you get a match win in 3-0 or 3-1, you're going to score yourself 3 points. If you win in a 5-set match, so you win 3-2, you'll get 2. And if you are the loser of a 5-set loss, you'll score yourself 1 point. Any other loss is 0 points. So teams are trying to score those points in case they get down to a nitty-gritty nail-biter, and there has to be a way to break that tie, and that's what it is. So this is what's used internationally everywhere around the world, and so there's no exception why the NBA shouldn't be using those point scores as well.
I love it. It actually kind of reminds me a little bit of the format that the NHL has in hockey, where if you're able to get to overtime, you still get a point out of the effort you put in that night. It's a similar kind of concept, and it kind of awards those teams who put up the fight versus those teams who get swept on any given night.
Absolutely, and that's what made that loss, for the Stingers or the win for the Ramblers so much more impactful. Was that means it's only a 2-point win for the Ramblers, and it's a 1-point loss for the Stingers, which again, both those teams coming in 9-1 in set counts. That kind of stuff really starts to matter. So you love seeing it develop here because while it's hard to know exactly where we're going to be 5 matches further down the road, we are still less than halfway done with the season for each one of these teams. It really starts to kind of pave that path that they're about to have to walk down. And it's kind of the, you make your bed and you got to sleep in it too. So that's where the OC Stunners going 0-3 early on. They're going to have a long track back to trying to get to the top half of that conference.
I think we have a report from the sideline from Matt, and if Matt's there, you can take it away.
Thanks, Ira. Yeah, just a couple insights from each team there between sets 3 and 4. Team Freedom, obviously not happy losing that set on a missed serve, so Coach Justin really imploring his team to play harder, asking to get more out of each one of his guys. It's not that they're playing bad, they just got to play harder, play smarter, play with that emotion that they had early on in that first set in front of their hometown crowd here. And then for Team Blaze, talking with Coach Edison Zhao about playing smarter, making their serves, and being a little bit more disciplined on defense here through set number 4. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that, Matt. And as we get set here to start set number 4, we'll see if Team Freedom has a comeback in them and maybe can earn at least that 1 point that you were talking about. As we are playing an important match here today, I still think that the match of the weekend so far, again, it's only day 1, but the Vegas-Utah match absolutely was worth every cent you paid for admission. But, well, perhaps this
that
one
was a little battle in the desert. We got the coast-to-coast now, had the SoCal, face-off earlier. But certainly more exciting matches to come. And we see Joe Norman tip that one into the net. And if you haven't heard me say that name all match long, that's because he is just making his appearance coming in for Bez on the right side. So Norman coming in a little bit cold and got to see a better management. Can't tip that ball in the net.
Yeah, Arslani was certainly a weapon for a while, but he has drawn a little cold, so they are going to Joe Norman, the 6'9" right side out of George Mason University, which is probably about 5-6 hours south of here. That is dug up and then put away. O'Gorman, the benefactor of great defense by the Blaze, who have scored the first 3 points here and are looking to end this in 4 potentially. You've talked about how you expected this to be a competitive battle. It has been that, but what we are starting to see now is the Blaze trying to shore up itself offensively. O'Gorman no longer the repetitive target on service attempts, and that has allowed him to regain the confidence that he showed early on. And right now, Team Freedom, Nick, does not have an answer for him.
They really don't. And Guzman right now playing some lights-out volleyball. That was a huge lip to get in the middle of that, extend that rally, and let Zhao get a little bump set to the outside. And, that's a tough miss. But at the same time, when you've got so much pressure and momentum up, 3-0, that's okay. That's one you weather. The guys get back on the serve-receive line, and you get ready to handle this. But you're going to have to handle it because Chris Nugent has been hammering the ball from the service line.
Nugent with the toss. Is there a foot fault? There was. That's his second one of the match. Very Chris Nugent-like, too. It's not a mistake a player of his caliber makes too often, the former Division I All-American. Steven Morales will serve. That's going to be a free ball opportunity, and that is absolutely annihilated. Oh, what a swing there. You talked about the legend as Greg Faulkner on blocking, but my goodness, that's going to leave a depression in somebody's chest.
Yeah, when that overpass goes over, you better put your helmet on because my guy will take your head off if you are not ready for it.
And he is emotionless after he unleashes that kill. They go outside here, and that doesn't get over.
Wow. And that's the tough, right? Now we're talking about how much Blaze is finding that rhythm that they want to be in. They're green lights. And this is the first time that we're seeing the Blaze team start to find their rhythm from the service line. They want to get back after it. And now as a result, the tough serves are rolling in. They're willing to weather the missed serves for the tough ones. And as a result, Team Freedom out of system. They try and lay that one up to Vaughn, but I mean, he's 12 feet off the net, got a huge double block set up in his face, and that is not a recipe for success if you're Team Freedom.
Can you talk about the placement for the pin hitters? You know, Vaughn trying to hit that one from maybe a meter behind the 10-meter line, and how much of a difference that makes versus a tight set.
Right, so I mean, a tight set is very frequently a death sentence in the hitter's world. If you're too tight to the blocker, to the block size that's going on here, that's just very difficult. And you've really got to have a lot of experience and a little bit of luck on your side, hope for a bad block. Off the net is hard to hit in. However, you've got options, and you need to manage your swing. You've got to try to earn what we call a half point, and that's playing for another good ball coming back your way. So Freedom's got to really start finding that. And Guzman tries to dig that one with his chest. Sometimes your chest is your biggest platform. Drops his arms back, throws his back out there and tries to find it. But Seifert putting a little too much heat on it.
I mean, when you're that big, you have a big chest to work with. Why not? It gives you a lot of surface area to work with. And here is Seifert trying to get his team back in. They trail 6-2. Oh, kept alive. Nugent with one arm, poked over by Vaughn. They go outside and over the head of Kenny. Nothing he could do about that one. He tried to kind of lunge like a prize fighter to get out of the way because he knew he had no chance to dig it and see if perhaps it would be over the line, but it connected probably about a foot inside, and that's a big break here for the Blaze. They continue to lead by 5, and they are trying to pull away early. That looked like another footfall. It doesn't matter.
He just cut it short. He was just barely clean. But, you know, this is one of those things that when you talk about just teams coming out, opening up strong, it's incredible to see that Blaze had such a strong game 1. You see Freedom answer back in kind right away, gets a huge game 2. But Blaze is showing a good amount of poise, control, and able to get themselves into a nice spot here.
Not the first time we've seen Joe Norman serve today. Sends it deep. Good pass there. They go in the middle, and Faulkner, he's able to stick it right on the line, and he got a touch on it anyway. Actually, I think it was out. I think it was just a touch there. I may have misseen that as I'm looking through our cameraman here on the near side. So I think it was only a touch, but Faulkner will go back to serve off of his handiwork. And
technical timeout.
That is it, yeah. I think we realized that was the 8th point.
Yeah, their little discussion kind of distracted us all from the fact that it is, in fact, 8-3, and first team to reach 8 means we take a nice little technical timeout.
If you're Coach Edra and Team Freedom right now, you find yourselves down here in this 4th set, and you already know that you have an uphill battle against a team that's already leading 2-1. Probably the hardest part of the match. If you're down 2-0, you're just leaving it all out there at that point. Now you're just playing. But 2-1, it feels as if that is one of the hardest deficits to overcome for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, obviously, every point matters because your back's against the wall. So you've got to not only start winning, but you've got to win now. The ability to kind of play at your pace, that's gone. So you start jamming, square pegs into round holes, and unfortunately, Freedom's not only down 2-1 here in this case, not 2-0 in that instance, but they're down 2-1, and it's still a must-win situation. So their desire to maybe play the game or let it develop, that's gone. And you're down by 5 already, so they've got to now overcome a 5-point deficit, outscoring basically 1 point, 2 points to 1 to close that up before the end of the game.
Faulkner, not a very aggressive serve, and Dzema is able to take advantage there after the timeout. So Team Freedom will get the ball back. It'll be Vaughn to serve, and of course, Team Freedom, we talked about being down 2-1. They're the first to make a significant lineup change here today. We'll see if they're able to capitalize on that. Clips the tape from the back row, and Norman, off the swing from O'Gorman.
That's a little George Mason to George Mason connection through the net there, too. Before going to George Mason, who was at Long Beach City College, O'Gorman was. But there he is, a GMU grad, just like Joe Norman. Says a little hello through the net.
Patriots, of course, one of the better D1 programs on the East Coast, a perennial top 15 ranked team in the AVCA, along with Penn State. So a lot of those great players represented here this weekend. It's not all California and Chicago area that's got some good college volleyball. You got some here on the East Coast, that's for sure, especially Penn State and George Mason. That's going to come to us. Woo! I thought we were going to have to make a save there on the camera. Almost run down there by the libero Ricardo Massanet, who jumped into our picture. I had the camera. I was not going to let that thing being taken out. Let our crew that we're going to protect this expensive equipment.
Great move all the same, but a much-needed point on the side of Team Freedom.
What a pass there by Massanet, off balance. It's going to be sent over to be kept alive, but I think they're into the net. Oh, it's a double touch is what it was. I'm making an assumption here as I'm trying to look through the back of the official.
And that's an interesting. FIVB is doing away with the devil, so it's pretty rare to be seen called. So that was, a very lucky break for Team Freedom. They're going to be happy for that one. But another great serve.
And off of the hands, and the kill, that's put away there. Pablo Guzman gives his team back another 5-point lead, and he will serve as, Blaze is really starting to ignite here. Anytime Freedom is able to get within 3 or 4 points, they quickly find an answer. Off the tape, they go outside Nugent, and that's going to be off of the really nice-looking light fixtures. I think this would look great in my living room.
Yeah.
But not great if you're playing volleyball, and of course, if it goes over the net and hits the light fixture, well, the light fixture wins.
One of the big things that we need to be looking at here is what are the offensive weapons that Freedom's trying to utilize, because right now it really seems like the outsides are trying to make the magic happen. So we've got to watch and keep an eye on that as we go here. And
Stuffed at the net. Norman and Seifert put it away.
They wanted to get their Twin Towers in. They were seeing the combo of Faulkner and Eddie Zhao, and now they've got their Norman Seifert, the 6'9", 6'10" power duo.
Fun fact about the light fixture, by the way. That material, the onyx, my dad's company makes that. That's his stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you heard it.
I looked up at it right away, and I was like, wait, that's my father's stuff. Wow, he's going to like that. I'll take a picture.
Didn't break.
Yeah,
shout out to them.
Well, it's this newfound plastic that is unbreakable. If it gets loose from the ceiling and falls to the floor, I think we're going to have bigger problems to worry about. But the lead is 3 now. We'll see if Freedom's able to bounce back. That's going to fall in as Nugent slipped it through the block.
And once again, that's a huge offensive contribution there from Nugent. And we've seen Norman take 2 swings. He's coming in cold. He's in a tough spot for sure, but that's part of your responsibility on being the bench is, finding a way to get ready. And so Freedom, while they're trying to get Norman warm on the right side, you're seeing the outside continue to carry a heavy load.
Good high pass. Here comes O'Gorman, and the tool of the block gives another side out, and Nugent is limited to just 1 serve. And we'll see Steven Morales drop back to serve, and you see these guys peeking up at the ceiling every now and then to kind of see how much clearance space they have, but This is high ceilings here, much more than you'll see in a lot of collegiate arenas. A lot of room to work with. Diving, reception there. Dug in the back row by Guzman. Sent over on one by Kenny, who keeps it alive. And then in the middle, the California legend puts it away. Faulkner.
Well, and I got to give a little more insight for you here. So most servers, they're actually not looking at clearance. What they're looking at is the lights. So when you're tossing a jump serve, you're going to be staring up quickly from the court to the lights. So you want to make sure that you're not under any line of lights that's going to blind you and you lose track of your serve. So they're shifting off of that line to make sure they've got a good ball trajectory when they toss it up.
Another England insight. Talk about things that I didn't know, and I've been with the sport for more than 20 years. And things I'm learning here, and we're only on day one. Think about the encyclopedia we'll carry with us.
But hey, I'm not giving it to them all day one. You know, you got to make sure to tune in days 2 and 3 for 10 more exciting matches. We got a long weekend to go yet.
There are a lot of nuggets coming your way.
6. Yep.
Yeah, Dzema's able to clip the net on, so it'll be a block and error on the native of Manalapan, New Jersey, in Monmouth County. It's about, for those of you who aren't Jersey
natives. Yeah, I was going to say, can you say that one more time for those of us not in the area?
Manalapan, New Jersey, not to be mistaken with Manalapan.
Is that over next to Unique, New York, and How Now Brown Cow?
That is about 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes from Asbury Park, or at least the way I drive.
Okay, that was my second guess.
Now, for those who aren't Jersey natives, that's about halfway up to Garden State Parkway. You know you're in Jersey when there's an exit every mile on the Parkway. One of the running jokes about Jersey, that is indeed true. That is sent line. Guzman with the pass, and then did it go long? Out. It did. I thought there may have been a touch, but there was not, and that works in the favor of the Freedom, who continue as we draw to the midway point. We're 1 point away from our second technical timeout. Freedom is not going away.
They certainly aren't. They got plenty of time. See if Joe Norman can generate a little bit, but he's just going for a controlled float, trying to put some pressure on.
That wasn't a great set at all, but doesn't matter. If you're Guzman, you find the solution, and we are at that technical tee.
That's going to bring us, everyone coming back in. Guzman goes right back to the net, gets set for the next point, not realizing, his guy's got to go grab him there. So, once again, when I see, I always view 3-point leads as kind of that magical number where you want to maintain the 3. If you're less than 3, you're still in very quick striking range. Once you get to 4, you've kind of put a nice cushion between you and the other team. And what that really starts to do is open up a little bit of that, the comfort zone. Guys are ready to go, and that's going to open up the jump serves. Guys are going to start hitting them a little bit harder. They're going to be willing to swing a little bit more aggressively. And if that kind of hits the right team vibe at the same time, you start really putting a lot of pressure that might open that 4-point lead up to about a 7-point lead. And so teams that are able to kind of manage that as a group effectively, that's where they really get lethal in this mid-game range. So it'll definitely be something to keep a track of, because right now Team Freedom is kind of just tapping serves in, trying not to make more serving mistakes. So if Blaze is able to continue improving their passes, establish their middle, we might see a little 7-point runaway go on right now.
And then obviously if it gets to that point, that will be insurmountable at this level. You're not coming back from that, barring a complete team collapse, which I think all of us would be shocked to see. And Faulkner has the ball in his hands, a 16-12 lead after the second technical timeout. Ira Thor, Nick England with you here in Atlantic City on the final match of day number 1, and Team Freedom is trying to extend it to 5 sets, but they need a run here. The kill by Chris Vaughn will help, and he'll go back to serve.
After this play, I think we're going to have a little bit more from Matt Prosser, the man with the golden drops over there. Whisper some sweet nothings into our ear.
Great save there by Robinson. That's sent over. Could be a free ball opportunity. Nugent's there. Here is Gorman. Oh, what a save with one hand by a running Guzman, but it's not enough. Guzman nearly made the defensive play of the afternoon and the evening. And we'll send it over to Matt with some words for wisdom from the sideline.
Yeah, thanks, Ira. Great play right there. But listening into Team Blaze's timeout there as they kind of try to close this match out in 4 sets possibly. Team highlights staying aggressive, obviously, in every aspect of the game, but then playing great defense. As you see a nice block come there from Team Freedom, but getting hot and heavy right now, you guys. Back to you.
Hot and heavy indeed. It is getting electric in here. The fans have been waiting for an opportunity to get loud and rowdy, and they are taking this one real quick. It is now 16-15, but Freedom on a 3-point run closes up that pillow that we talked about oh so comfortably, and now the fans are getting loud and rowdy. And you know, there's a big difference when your team is trying to make that comeback. You got a little bit of pep in your step, everyone behind you, and you feel that energy. So Freedom are definitely guys that love to chirp, they love to be loud, and if they got some fans behind them, do not count them out.
And the fans haven't had really much to cheer about for the last half an hour as Blaze has been in control, but that block, double block there in the middle, certainly starting to electrify this Freedom side. They needed to find a way to turn around the momentum, as the 4-point swing that you talked about probably was that pivot point, that seesaw part of the match. If they were able to get it to 5 or 6, you could probably write this one off. But coming out of this timeout, now the Blaze are the ones who have the pressure that they were not feeling really for the last half an hour, as we said. And Freedom with the ball in their hands, a chance to tie this up with a strong serve. Chris Vaughn, an excellent server. He's got a high IQ player.
Good pass.
Stevens Tech, by the way, which is one of the best academic schools in the country. So he's not only a great volleyball player, but he's got himself a very useful degree, too.
He's got the brains and the brawn. Love to see it.
And a 2-point lead now for the Blazers. They got the side out they had to have. Edison's out with the ball in his hands. Not a great pass from Nugent. Nugent will swing away, and he gets blocked. Double block there, combination. Steven Morales, Pedro Nieves, and the lead swells to 3. And Nugent didn't have the best reception. Wouldn't rate that one very highly, and because of that, well, attacked a little bit out of system. Again, struggling with the reception. This time they go to Norman. Blocked back. In the middle, Dzema comes through.
Massanet not quite able to find that scoop there. And, you know, that's going to be the return fire you need to see from the side of Team Freedom. And we're going to see the Josh Castillo sub come in here once again as a serving sub, goes to that far side. I think he's going after O'Gorman, so I think that's why he's shifted across to give himself as much room to just really hammer a ball into the hard angle.
There you see the screen again that you talked about. It has reemerged. That is wide, so the strategy is reemerged, and quite frankly, it is paying off because it's once again a 1-point game. Big smile from Castillo. He knows his role here on this team, and he is helping Freedom perhaps find themselves a way back into this match. Gonna be a free ball. Oh, good night. Put down by Seifert. We're even, all square at 18.
And that's what I'm talking about. You know, that's one of those things, that's why I love talking about all these little small techniques that, you know, you might not see them if you're not looking for them. And that's what makes high-level volleyball so hard as a team, making these moves to hit your target off the bench. Josh Castillo coming up huge right now. If he can put one more in, Freedom is going to love their spot. And just like that, I mean, it really is a lot to ask, though, right? He earns 2 real points, and that's a great effort from him. And a real quick vocab here. When I say a real point, with a side-out score, meaning that someone earns a point every single rally, a real point is while you're serving, you score a point. That's what is referenced as a real point, and it's really important because it extends your lead by 1 on the scoreboard.
And it goes back to a tie game, 19-19. And, you know, I remember going back to a side-out scoring playing in the mid-90s, and my God, some of those matches would last for hours and hours and hours if you kept going on. And one of the things about rally scoring is it could be over in a blink of an eye if you're not playing well.
Absolutely the case. And, kept it alive, Massanet.
I thought that hit the floor, or it was a carry, I'm sorry. Look, got a little screen there, and there was a mass in that argument that he thought they were able to keep that sucker alive, but officials disagree.
I don't have an angle, but
yeah, we can't see on that one just from where we're sitting. Impossible.
But for the first time in I don't know how long, Team Freedom finds themselves back in the driver's seat here. So Blaze needs to shore that up, make sure that they don't get 2 points scored against them for that last one.
Tight to the net, hands on it, covered by the libero. They go right side, off the top of the hands. Chance for the Blaze to answer. They go to O'Gorman. Good pass here by Vaughn. In the middle, Seifert is blocked, but dug up again. Another chance, and just sent over by Nugent. Right side, down the line for the winner by Steven Morales.
Wow, what an exchange. A lot of rallies going on there. A lot of great block touches. O'Gorman swinging through a huge triple block from the Blaze and then able to be put away by Morales. You've got to see Ryan Kenny. He short-stroked the set a little bit to Seifert. You got a 6'10" middle. You got to get him up there and use all of that height.
It's wild that O'Gorman was able to slot that through. They go right side here, and that is destroyed. Back corner, Chris Nugent gets it done.
You talk about slotting a ball through. Nugent had a ball to hit, and he hit it well deep into that corner. That's a huge point. Great contribution from number 10 in blue.
So a 1 point lead for Freedom. They need to win this set to force the fifth. Nugent serving. Great serve. Here's a chance for Blaze. They go right side, and they clip the block, and there looked like Chris Vaughn is hurt as somebody went under the net. I don't know if it was Vaughn who went under or if a member of the Blaze, but Chris Vaughn is down, and he is very slow to get up as he looked like it's a right ankle injury, and that is a huge loss for Team Freedom if he's not able to continue.
And even bigger loss is that Josh Castillo has already come in as a serving sub, maybe the natural option there. So what we're going to see
it'll
is
actually be Bez Arslani, whose natural position is outside.
Sure,
so
I'm just saying, with his arm being the way it is, going right back in on the outside, Josh Castillo, another one of their options. But you can't put Josh back in since he's already subbed in as a serving sub. So that removes that option altogether, giving you Bez as the only real option left on the bench right now. And that's one of the risks you run using those serving subs. Outside hitters very frequently one of the players that you rely on to be some of those role players, playing good defense back row. So Freedom with limited options here, and they go right back to Bez. So he's got a big arm nonetheless. So if he can find his stride, this may not be a bad thing.
And it is his natural position on the outside. This is where he earns his money. Well, speaking about earning money, Norman through the earth on that one. Destroys it for a huge side out to make it a 22-21 lead.
That's what we've been waiting to see. That is the Joe Norman of legend you want to see. One of the only American recruited to go to South Korea for their tryout. That was a rare ability for him. And so seeing him warm up now, this could be something that helps Freedom get to the later part of this game.
The triple block is up, but they're able to off the hands of Norman. And he nodded his head. He's like, all right, you got me there.
O'Gorman is just delivering as a clutch option on the outside. Time and time and time again.
And he's not afraid to challenge the block. He is fearless out there, and he has the ball in his hands, all square at 22. That's going to be an over ball, and that is hammered home with authority as Pablo Guzman makes it a lead for the Blaze deep here in set 4, forcing a timeout from Team Freedom.
And we were behind just 1 point there, so if you saw the double point added from 22-21 to 22-23, that is in fact correct. We are caught up with the scoreboard that is live on the court. So with that swing, we see Blaze getting a 1 point lead, and we are heading into the very last leg of this race.
And let's send it over to Matt with some words of wisdom on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. Just a quick injury update here on Team Freedom's outside hitter, Chris Vaughn. You saw him go down with looks like an apparent ankle injury. He's over here on the bench. He's got his shoe off and is being attended to by the physical trainer staff, but looks like he's done for the night. Don't expect him back out on the court with a lateral ankle sprain. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that update, Matt. We'll see what the sports medicine staff here on site's able to do with Chris. tonight going into tomorrow. They don't play again until 7 p.m. tomorrow, so a lot of time to work on his ankle, see if he's able to recover and see some more action this weekend. Meanwhile, it is a chance here for the Blaze to put a cap on this one. They lead by 1, and O'Gorman's got the ball in his hands. Freedom looking to tie it, and, well, then won't here. What an amazing dig, diving by Massonet. Another chance for Freedom. They go back to Gorman, power tip for the win.
Wow.
Joe Norman is able to stick it off of the block, but we cannot understate what an effort there, diving out of bounds by libero Ricardo Massonet. You talk about fearless. He went as far as you can without coming off of this sport court. 23-23. Joe Norman has the hopes of Team Freedom riding in his hands. Nearly falls in. Blocked back, triple block. Mostly Dzema, a little bit of Kenny and Bez, and it is set point for Team Freedom. The Blaze will call timeout.
Man, the way you list that triple block makes it sound like a nice recipe I want a piece of. A lot of this, a little bit of this, and to finish it off on top. Bez off the bench. What a great contribution, stepping up, and that's what it is all about. You want to play high-level ball, there are no ifs, ands, or buts. There is only a race to 25 and a win by 2, and off the bench, Bez shows what it means to be clutch.
And
wow.
Chris Vaughn and Bez played against each other. I'm not sure how many years they had overlapped, but there were some battles there between Stevens and NJCU when he was first at NJCU, and then Stevens and Kane when he moved over to Kane and played. And the years go by so fast.
They do.
I was trying to remember who played who and when, but a lot of overlap between these guys now on the same side, and it's kind of poetic that one guy gets hurt and they're able to fluidly put in another teammate. You know, it's next man up philosophy. And,
Yep.
And we'll see if it emerges here as set point number 1 for Joe Norman and his Team Freedom trying to go to Game 5. And, just misses long. He took the chance, and he just missed. The whole back corner was open.
And that's where you look at your coach and you let him know, hey, that's a coach's point right there. Good one. Way to ice that server. And you're going to go, we're seeing extra innings. This is delivering on all levels. So if you're tuning in for the first time, this is the last match of day 1. Nick Liz Dennis rips that serve down the line.
And a deep, this time he gets that corner that he wants as it's put away by Joe Norman. Set point number 2 coming up for Freedom. And Bez Arslani seeing if he could be the one to close this sucker out.
Joe Norman, currently the power tip king, getting it done just the way he wants. And, sometimes big swings pay off, but I guarantee if you're putting a point on the scoreboard, no one's going to care.
Arslani with the floater. They go right side and blocked down by Dzema and Nugent, and we are going to game number 5. Atlantic City, get ready. We have our second 5-setter of day number 1. We're going to spend a little late night here in AC on a Friday night.
Hey, a late night on Friday night watching some high-level men's volleyball. I can't think of a better way to spend my time. What a great match we've got here so far. But I do want to take a quick break and say a huge thank you to Harrah's Casino for hosting us all weekend long. The facilities are phenomenal. Their staff is phenomenal. The space is top tier. Our teams are taken care of, and we can't thank them enough. But that cannot be understated without mentioning JBJ events, putting on top-tier youth events over here on the East Coast. Partnering with them always makes this a top-level event. We were out here 1 year ago, and it's an easy, quick decision to come back and partner with them. So a huge thank you. You see that great logo, that great beard on your screen.
Best beard
right
in the business.
Near. Hey, there it is. Got a name that you can market and a face that you can market. Absolutely do it, JBJ. A huge thank you to them. And last but not least, you cannot understate this kind of flashy play could not be done without a flashy ball that we see from Mikasa, the VLW 200. So a huge thank you to the proud sponsor of Mikasa, providing us with plenty of balls for guys to get warmed up with all weekend long and provide you with some of the highest level volleyball here in the U.S.
We thank our sponsors. We cannot do it without you. And the support of the NVA. The NVA Cup is only going to allow this sport and this league to flourish, as we will get you set here for set number 5. And
there's a shot right there, the custom Mikasa ball that they've got the NVA badge on there. It's a great shot for, letting you know what we're working with. And for anyone that might be new, maybe you found this on YouTube, just happened to stumble across it, or a good friend pointed you in the right direction and you want to see what volleyball is all about for yourself, make sure to pick one of those up, because it is the best ball in the business. That I can guarantee.
Or you can come down here live. Probably not tonight. I don't think they're going to make the ride in time. This is not going to go to a 6th set. But we'll be back here again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We'll be back here Sunday at 9 a.m. There's 5 matches tomorrow, 5 matches on Sunday. A lot of good volleyball on hand for the next couple days. And if you want to see some of the best players in the country, maybe shy of the Olympics, it's right here. And what a great year to thinking about high-level volleyball with the Olympics coming up. You have some former national team players here on these rosters. And
a huge part, and you can take a look at tomorrow's schedule just popping up. That's going to be starting us off right. The Tornadoes taking on the Southern Exposure. We're going to see the Matadors and the Untouchables later on. Halfway through the day, once again, we're seeing not the two undefeated teams, but if Stunners played in the first event like they did today, it would be. That's going to be a huge match with the OC Stunners taking on one of their practice teams, the Las Vegas Ramblers. Then we see the Texas Tyrants battling off against the LA Blaze, and finishing it off with a cherry on top. It's going to be a knockdown drag out fight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be Team Freedom, your hometown heroes, taking on the bad boys from Utah, the BYU squad. That's the Utah Stingers. That match is going to be a stellar one. Can't wait to see it.
I cannot wait to see it. A lot of those BYU guys have actually played out here on the East Coast before, come out here to play Princeton, play NJIT, play Penn State. So it's really good to see players from the West come to the East and be able to see this sport truly emerge at the full national level that we all want to see, and it's starting to happen. The NVA is making it happen, and Matt will tell you more about how we're making it happen as he gets us set with a sideline report for set number 5.
Yeah, thanks, Ira. Obviously, as we get ready here for this 5th set tiebreaker, both teams obviously super amped as we're just finishing off day 1 action here. Team Blaze really focusing on staying disciplined, right? Having fun, playing hard for your teammates, but again, being disciplined on defense, blocking defense, getting their hands over on the net on those block moves. For Team Freedom, obviously getting a player going down in that 4th set, and Chris Vaughn, a little bit of a shock to the system for Team Freedom, but Joe Norman stepping up and coming in, playing great at the opposite position, and Bez coming in to help out as well. And the hometown crowd here kind of doing it for the hometown group. Team Freedom looking to see if they can steal this match in 5. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that,
so
Matt.
much.
And I'll tell you what, at least for your sake, you're not going to have yours taken off your life by going to a 5th set like you did in that early one today. My gosh.
That was a nail biter. I gotta
say, you can breathe now a little bit, my friend.
It's been a that's the great part of being a part of the NBA right now. While we're growing, so many of us wearing so many hats, and as a former player, now as a vice president of the Las Vegas Ramblers, currently the head coach this weekend, getting to do the broadcast, we get to wear it all, and we're underway.
A little bit of the tape there, as that is put away by Steven Morales, as Freedom had the ball first with the chance. Remember, we are playing to 15 here in the 5th set, and they had a chance to take the lead. Now it is the Blaze with the early advantage, and serving will be Pedro Nieves, the 6'9" middle out of Bahamas, Puerto Rico. That is just long, and that was good communication there by the Freedom to lay off of that one, because quite frankly, I think most players would have assumed that was going to be in.
I think the AC turned on in the room, gave it a little bit of a draft, and just sent it just long.
The AC here in AC. And it is on because it is hot in this room. Hot volleyball action going on as these teams are going back and forth in our final set of the night. And, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, everybody's going to get a point now. So regardless of the result of this one, you're not playing for nothing.
Really is the case, and earning those, those FIVB points really are going to come in, and they're going to be important. but not as important as that perfect pass. Activates Nugent, gets a tip over the top, finds the system that he wants. Great court vision and a way to score there, number 10.
Yeah, Chris Nugent, another high IQ player there. You could see him going up and just glancing at the open spot, finds a useful spot to even it at 2-all. So Nugent to serve. This is good there, coming out of the back row. This could be a free ball opportunity. The joust, Faulkner got a piece of it for the Blaze. It is sent over here. Libero setting it up. Oh, annihilation put away there. Joe Norman off the bench paying dividends. It's 3-2.
And that's what it's all about. Sometimes when you're cold off the bench, your team needs to find a way to set you up in advantageous situations to get warm and take high percentage swings. We're coming into the deep part of the game now, and Joe Norman is ready to go. He's going to be the answer for Team Freedom if they want to find a lot of success, I think, here.
And Nugent misses long into the crowd, which is really, I think, we talked about it being full before. It is full now. We've had standing room only here on a Friday night. And back to serve will be Travis O'Gorman. Going to have to be picked up by Libero, calls for help. Arslani looks where he is and he swings away. Free ball opportunity, but they cannot take advantage. Instead, it's Norman and he misses wide. Oh, if Seifert was there in time, he could have put this one right down and just not there. Golden opportunity not taken advantage of, and the lead is 1 for the Blaze.
Just a quick reminder for everyone at home, this Game 5 is only going to 15, so this one's going to be a sprint and over quick.
Off the ceiling, that actually works in the favor of the Blaze as this is slugged right back. If that had been a little bit deeper, I think Freedom would have had an opportunity to set something up, but instead it comes over. Free balls at this level don't end well.
Player coach Edison Zhao right now asking through the net, hey, can you set me a little bit tighter next time? I was able to really uncork on that one, but give me a little more time and I'll give everyone a real show.
Well, 5-3 the lead for Blaze here, and head coach Carlo Edra calling timeout. See if the Freedom can settle down. They have done everything you could have asked here right now. They've had their backs against the walls twice, and both times they've answered to win the even-numbered sets. But do they have an answer here in the 5th?
It's going to really require them to find a way to put it together and push that back over the hill. They've been fighting the uphill battle on the back foot for the better part of this match, being a set behind or down in points. And they keep finding ways to showcase exactly why they're such a threatening team. But right now, none of that matters unless you can score that final 15th point.
So the ball back in the hands of Travis O'Gorman. He's been such a dynamic player today, except the only time he's really been taken out of it is when they have attacked him on the reception game. In the middle, Seifert. That works. Oh, off balance as he gives a little love tap to Ryan Kenny. Kenny on 1 foot off balance was able to poke it in the air like a beach player, and that's all Seifert needed.
Yeah, when you're 6'10", your window is, it's huge, and he gets up there, does the work, and just helps Kenny out. Great point for Freedom.
And a big serve, 5, Seifert. They go outside. What a save here by Kenny, diving into the padding. From the back row, blocked back. Oh, Dzema gets it done.
Blaze looking for a little bit of a lift there as that funneled all the way through. Joe Norman coming, down his chest through that block. But, hey, guys, you play the whistle. And if there's no whistle blown, there is no point scored. Team Freedom ties this up at 5-5, and Seifert, energy's on his backside right now.
Dzema is an undersized middle, but he doesn't play that way. Another block back. This time it's covered by the libero. Tipped back again. Third opportunity for the Blaze off the top of the hands. Nugent's there, and Arslani's just going to send it over to extend the play. Fourth opportunity for the Blaze. Another touch of the hands. Kenny to Arslani. Bez misses short. Oh.
Take a breath, friend. That
Hey,
is
look,
some great calls, but you got to remember to take a deep breath in there.
I got myself a souvenir for a split second as the ball came over. Ball was sweaty.
Yeah.
Ball was sweaty. I guess that's what happens when you have
There's a
long
lot of
rally
swings,
like that.
a lot of block moves.
Faulkner with the serve. 1 point lead for the Blaze. That nearly grazes the ceiling. Oh, and put down, double block, Dzema and Norman. And we're even again at 6s.
And this is the advantage of when you bring Joe Norman back into the court right now. He sets up such a large block. You start funneling pin hitters back into the middle, so as long as you're seeing the work being done on the side of the Team Freedom middles, they're going to get rewarded with some blocks, and it's working out right now. But definitely don't count the outside hitters of Pablo Guzman and Travis O'Gorman out just yet. This game is just getting started.
6-6. The server is Norman. And he leaves it short.
So in the gyms I come from, you serve a ball under the net and it doesn't hit the tape, you owe everyone something, whether that's a box of donuts or a couple drinks for the boys after practice. That's pretty egregious.
That's a terrible time for it as well. We'll see if they can get it back. In the middle, they get it back because Dzema delivers.
He's
Dr.
having a
Doug.
great match. Yeah, Dr. Doug. Dr. Doug has the answers for Team Freedom's symptoms right now.
Well, some bad medicine coming here. We're in Jersey. You got to make a Bon Jovi reference. As Arslani leaves it short. And back-to-back awful serves for Team Freedom. I don't know what's going on. Did the ball suddenly lose some air? But we are going to switch sides at 8-7. And Team Freedom's going to have to shake this one off quickly. 2 absolute gifts for the Blaze.
All right, boys, now we underhand it in. You got to keep that ball alive because that is tough. Unexcusable errors.
Well, we're going to have a technical timeout here. Wonder if after the technical tee we'll see some sky balls coming. You know, the beach is right outside. We're in Atlantic City.
You know, and this is one of those things, though, when you talk about the expectation, both these teams have been hammering serves at different times throughout the match. Right now, everyone feels a little bit unwilling to make a service error, and so they're trying to kind of play really safe. We're seeing a lot of standing floats, a lot of really easy high ball floats. You got to be able to put some pressure on. Guys, we're in set 5. This one matters. So the team that's willing to ride or die on that serve, trust their guys, trust their arms, and go after it, they're going to be rewarded right now because soft tapping a ball under the net twice in a row is frankly inexcusable. And you should get punished for it. So right now, Blaze take that 1 point lead. They need to come back. Hopefully one of their big servers just goes back and is willing to take a rip.
It is unbelievable in this scenario in a match that, quite frankly, has playoff implications. We know it does.
Yes.
You're only going to see each of these teams one time. Don't want to drop this match, you know, when you want to be playing deep into July. Freedom, you just had a chance to talk about it, see if they're able to find an answer. Maybe some nerves involved. I would imagine there has to be nerves at this point of the match. Don't want to be the team to make that mistake, but they just made 2. And the ball's in the hands of Guzman with the big serve. Here's Nugent, and he gets the kill off of the block to square it at 8.
It really feels like we've devolved into, hey, look how good my outsides are, because these outsides on both teams are just hammering balls home. It doesn't matter what the block is in front of them. Doesn't matter what set they're getting. They know they've got to keep swinging. So props to both teams outside core, because they've really got to keep delivering here.
And Dzema, been one of our best players in this match. And that is somehow kept alive. I thought there was potentially a carry. Doesn't matter as it sails wide. And we are playing back and forth. No give or take here at all. It is a seesaw battle. Teams are earning everything, with the exception of those 2 really bad serves, are earning everything here in this 5th set.
We're just going to put an asterisk next to those 2 points and say, something happened, and
Never
here
happened.
we are 2 points
Never
later.
happened. Kenny Seifert has kept alive here by Nieves, who nearly falls into the table. Oh, what a dig there by Robinson. And then Nugent gets the winner.
They're calling a touch, but there is no touch. That ball is out. Wow, I'm curious where they saw the touch. I saw it bounce off the tape and go long.
From my angle, I did see a touch. Obviously, you're looking through the back of the official, and I do have a little bit of an angle here.
Hey, I'm going to trust the guys in red.
I did see a very slight touch there as it changed direction. We're even at 9-9. It's getting late here, and a fun one. Oh, and a triple block yet again. Seifert, Norman, Nugent, chalk it up.
I mean, that's as big a block as you're going to see in the NVA. That's huge right there. 2 6'10", 6'9" guys with a little bit of Nugent spice on the side. The options are limited except for the straight down one, it seems.
Blocked again into the tape. And the point, back-to-back blocks for Freedom, who's actually 4 touches off of the block. Counts nonetheless. Blaze going to talk it over, 11-9.
Wow. Freedom answer back in the best way possible. Couple back-to-back blocks, great presence on the net, and they are shoring this one up. We are certainly not out of it yet. Blaze is going to have a chance to answer back right after this timeout, see if they can draw up a game plan. And you know what? That game plan screams to me is if they get a good pass, they're going to Greg Faulkner in the middle. And if it's anything less than that, they are going to rely on the outside hitter of Travis O'Gorman. And, it's a tough spot to be in, but if there's someone you can trust in, it's the guy they've trusted in all match long. Number 12, Travis O'Gorman, is here to deliver, so I wouldn't be worried if I'm on the side of the LA Blaze. And if you're back home in Orange County, LA area, worry not. Blaze is not done yet. They're going to keep fighting against the hometown fan favorite here of Team Freedom.
I'll tell you what was wild to me, and you talked about Faulkner. First set was dominated by Blaze because of the block. The end of this 5th set, it's been the Freedom block. As that's an ace! What a timely ace for the Freedom! They're up by 3!
Uncharacteristic. Massanet, one of the best passers in the league, getting aced at the most inopportune moment. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be clutch.
And you got to keep it in play, and they didn't. And Kenny to serve again. Deep float. They go outside to O'Gorman. What a dig there. Robinson keeps it alive. Oh, exciting volleyball in the 5th set. This time, O'Gorman only needs a second try.
But man, with the defense from Robinson going all out, extending those rallies, you start getting tired. O'Gorman unrelenting. Big swing after big swing after big swing, but just not willing to stop.
And they will go to the bench. We're not entirely sure who it is because they've changed numbers.
Roster,
so
but,
Mystery Man with the serve. And that's blocked back. Continuation play in the middle. Seifert, was there a touch? There was not. And it's a 1-point game here in the 5th. A rare miss from Seifert, who doesn't commit a lot of attack errors.
It's funny, you look on the left side of the court where Blaze is at, and they got a couple fans over here supporting the effort that they're putting out. It's, they need all the energy they can get right now. Great serve once again.
They go to Norman, and Norman delivers. And it's 13-11. A side out you had to have, otherwise we're all square at 12. And instead, it'll be Chris Nugent with the ball in his hands, the Fair Lawn, New Jersey native, playing about 90 minutes from his hometown in North Jersey. Huge serve coming up. And another foot fault, his third.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to jinx him, but I was about to say he's had a tough night. 2 foot faults already. We don't want to see a third. Uncharacteristic mistakes or unnecessary, and just the service line right now is really getting to both teams.
Travis O'Gorman trying to even it up. It's 13-12 Freedom deep in the 5th. Kenny will run it down. Oh, destroyed! Norman delivers, and it's 14-12, and it's match point for the Freedom. Kenny keeping it alive. A perfect bump set, and Blaze will talk it over. You talk about coming off the bench. What a colossal swing there as Joe Norman, the George Mason native, woo! What a time to smash it home.
I mean, that is exactly what we talked about. A little slow coming in halfway through the third. It's but at the beginning of the third, tough spot to be in. finds his way through the fourth with a lot of great points, with some great tips, vision, and we said coming into the fifth, if Team Freedom wants to have a chance, it's going to be on the back of number 20, the big man, Joe Norman, and he is stepping up and delivering, just in every opportunity he gets, going over top of that double block for a huge point, taking Team Freedom to this reversal of a game that they've been behind all night long. 14-12, Seifert's going to serve, and let's get into it.
So this is match point number 1. The Penn State product, Matt Seifert, out of Reading, PA, trying to close it out here on match point game number 5 of the night. They go to the outside, and delivering and extending it is Pablo Guzman. So it ain't over yet.
Nicholas Dennis, that serving sub that Blaze has relied on so much, coming in for Greg Faulkner. It's a little 1-2 punch. He's got a very comfortable jump serve that he looks to crank out of the corner, but he also plays great defense. So it's a nice little substitution at this late into the game. The fact you still got it in your pocket is a great option.
Good pass there from Nugent. They go right side. Dug up by the Blaze. Rolled from the back. Here it goes. They go outside. Arslani, blast by Bez. Let freedom ring. And the hometown team victorious to close out night 1. 15-13 in a colossal fifth set.
In a match that they could not find the lead. They kept fighting. They said, we never quit. Team never die. And I said it early on. It's Team Freedom. If you don't beat them, they're going to take it to you in every facet with every guy on the bench. They're going to fight through injuries. They're going to use a variety of options. They're going to have guys playing both sides of the pin, and they're going to make it work. Team Freedom lock down the 4-0 record, now limiting that club to a small number of 2 teams, the Las Vegas Ramblers and the New Jersey Team Freedom.
Isn't it ironic that the 2 players that come through at the end are Joe Norman, who came in place of Bez Arslani to try to change it up offensively, and then Arslani, who came back in due to an injury, closing it out with the clutch kill. As we're going to talk about this one. I don't know who you give the MVP of this one to. There's so many players that were important tonight. Dzema, I thought, had a great match. It could be Bez. I think it's a good opportunity to talk to Bez because he played 2 different roles. In fact, I think that's fair. Hey, you know what? He got the COVID shot yesterday. He's an MVP to all the healthcare folks out there, and he came in a much-needed spot in an injury and got it done.
And a big part of it is, like, when you're looking at the role players, obviously it's not to be understated what Joe Norman does, coming in to replace Bez when they're looking for a little bit of that uptick. And he's a little slow off the ground. Like I said, no fault of his own. You're coming in 2 sets cold. That's a tough spot to be in. And he came in and absolutely made sure they brought it home. But once again, Bez, game 4, they're in the middle of an injury, comes in to replace Chris Vaughn right away, and just, he's doing it all. He's applying pressure and just really being clutch.
And Vaughn was having a great match. It wasn't that's not somebody you wanted to replace, but when you can get a guy who started, went to the bench, and came in and delivered, that's such a confidence booster for this Team Freedom squad.
It really is. It makes sure that when you know that they're going to be having a long weekend fighting some big matches, they got to take on the Stingers tomorrow. And depending on how the ankle is for Vaughn, they might not have him for the rest of the event. So you might have to figure out what your other options look like. And having Bez come in and show you that he's ready to play, that's a great opportunity. It makes sure Team Freedom is ready to go. So I think we're about ready on the court side. And if you guys are ready, we're going to kick it over to you. Here it is. Take it away.
Well, guys, what a match. Here with match MVP Bez Arslani from Team Freedom. Bez, kind of obviously congratulations. Huge 5-game win.
Thank you.
You got to play kind of two matches in one right there. Can you kind of tell us what's going through your mind right now?
Yeah, yesterday I actually got the vaccine, the second dose of the vaccine before I came here. So I was cold. I had the chills. If you guys were paying attention, I was on the sideline. Like, we changed it up a bit for Joe Norman to get some sort of looks in there, and he changed the outcome with a few blocks here and there, swinging right over the block. It was awesome. It sucks that I actually got in because I didn't want to go in as an outside. I was playing right side, our buddy Chris Vaughn went down, so we have to step up,
Go into that a little bit more. So you come out, looked like you were getting a rest. You were definitely cold. I could tell you were putting the jacket on.
I was freezing.
Chris goes down with an ankle injury. You're the only guy available because I think Josue had gone in to serve.
Was serving for one of our guys. But whenever you get told to go in, you got to be ready. I coach as well, and when I look at my bench and ask them, hey, you guys ready to go in? And they're not ready, stay on the bench.
Prime example to those younger players out there, right?
Yeah.
You always got to be ready because you never know when you're going to get that chance.
Absolutely. Like I said, I came in this just to be a part of the squad. I'm coming back from a shoulder injury. I hit up Carlo, and he's like, our roster's full, Bez. What do you want me to tell you? You could come and support if you want. So I did. And here it is. I'm playing with them now.
I think you have been a pretty good addition to your squad. So congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the award.
I appreciate it.
Go get some rest and a hot shower.
Oh, yeah.
Bez Arslani, MVP of match number 5, day 1. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Matt, and just how poetic is it that Bez, as he said, he was kind of a late addition to the roster. It was full, but here he is coming in as the MVP today. Bez Arslani is Team Freedom with a signature resume-building win as they improve to 4-0 on the year. Let's take a look at the schedule tomorrow. We got 5 matches for you starting at 9 a.m. It'll be the Tornadoes against Southern Exposure. 11:30 a.m. It's the Matadors against the Untouchables. And you got the Stunners and the Ramblers at 2 p.m. The Blaze will try to see if they can get back in the win column as they're now 2-2 on the year with this loss, as they will take on the Tyrants at 4:30 p.m. And then, 7 p.m., get your popcorn ready. It'll be Freedom against Stingers in a battle of 2 of the best teams in the league.
Absolutely, and if you guys don't know just yet, one of the biggest things that we're going to be dialing in, if you don't know how to follow, check us out on nvausa.com. Check out our Instagram or our YouTube. And once again, we want to do a huge shout-out and thank you to JBJ Events, Harris Casino, and Mikasa, the proud sponsors of the NVA.
Our final score tonight in a barn burner that went to 5 sets. Well, the Blaze won the first set 25-16. The Freedom came back, won 25-19, and then it started getting interesting. 25-22 Blaze in the third. Freedom in overtime, extra points in the fourth, 26-24. And at the end, Freedom prevails, as it usually does, 15-13. In a great match here in Atlantic City. We'll be back with you again 9 a.m. tomorrow. 5 more matches in our second NVA Cup event of the season. For Matt and Nick, I'm Ira Thor. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, be well, everybody.